hustling 10 carriage guns to hunt the world's oceans and seas. Born to go into harm's way, for all ye hell or high waters be damned. No lightning, no thunder, nor hurricane gale can stand in the face of his wrath. Me beneath his enemies sleep, like cloud where the gates cannot grow. To the tide that rise, every last man shall shake to the core of his soul. For submerged operation by OpSCAD 48 Tech 18, Department of myself. Sounding is 1385 fathoms beneath the keel in Chesil chart. I am verifying the right quarantine and re-entering to the start of the ship. I intend to support the ship for one
I gave you a warning. Said put the kids outside, didn't I? And if you didn't, and you're mad at me, and you're cursing my name, just wanted to give you a little coffee toast. You know, here you go. Where's that camera? Fuck. There you go. Good morning, Judge Salvi. Good morning, Judge Christensen. Good morning, ex-wife. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Oh yeah, Raymond Bolt. Hope somebody pissed in your coffee. Let's get a mood I'm in this morning. Fuck you if you don't like it. This is shop talk. All right? It's how we talk on a sub. It's how we talk out there in the fucking desert. It's how we talk shoreside. It's how we talk. I'm a salty ass sailor, and I'm angry about a lot of things. And we should be. Jesus Christ, I hear myself twice. So I've got this weird audio delay that I'm dealing with this morning. And it's like some fucking asshole is like trying to copycat me. This could be interesting, CJ. So we got some issues that we're dealing with. Got a buddy of mine in jail, which is partly why I'm salty this morning. Yeah, they threw my Native American buddy, Chris Marks, right into the clink. Debtor's prison. Yep. And this is a good morning to his judge. We're going to find out who their name is a little later on the show. We're going to maybe call the police department. So if you guys want to hang out for the show, we're going to maybe ruffle a few feathers today. But if you got better things to do, go ahead. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to put up with this shit either. So what we got, CJ? Good morning. Intro too long. Get to the point, bro. Here's my point, Patrick. It's my show, not yours. I created it, not you. I'll get to my point when I'm ready, not when you're ready. So if you missed the point because you were impatient like a child and you stepped away, or you had some adulting to do, oh fucking well. That's why this is shop talk. That's why we start at 8-ish. Okay? Nobody ever starts right at 8. You show up at fucking 7:45 and the working man does not start right out at 8. Because then his dickbag boss has to go and meet with his dickbag boss. And so on and so forth. And the guys of us on the bottom, we get started whenever the dickbags are done doing what dickbags do. Working men run the show. These other guys up above in the Pentagon, Capitol Hill, your state houses, we're misled in thinking that they're going to do what we want them to do, and they don't. They just lock us up. They just use us like, what is that, chattel? Is that the term? Chattel? Jesus Christ, this loop thing. I might bash my face on the table.
I know I'm not gonna. Only coming on, Cash, because of the auditory issue. Can we try something?
Let's try something.
Can we?
We're working men trying to figure this shit out. I'm a middle-aged white man. I'm 42. That's how many people we got on here. And this shit's hard for some of us, especially when we're stoned.
It could be the marijuanas, yes.
I didn't say it was all marijuana.
Okay, it could be the marijuana. It could be the marijuana then. So in your StreamYard on your computer, is there a way for you to go into your settings? It should be at the bottom, audio, and push this button called echo cancellation. I think that's what it is. I was looking it up on StreamYard when you said it. It's on your computer. There's 3 dots next to your name, and it should say settings at the bottom. There, you see where it says cam/mic. All right, you muted yourself.
Fuck.
There we go. So
is it working?
No, go. So click that at the bottom of StreamYard on your settings, Cache. There's a setting that says cam/mic. It's got a little cogwheel. I think we're gonna fix the problem here. It's gonna help you out, Cache. It's gonna help you. You click the cam/mic option on your settings at the bottom of StreamYard. It says cam/mic, and then your section is audio, and there should be a button called audio cancellation. Make sure that's clicked. It should say echo cancellation. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's clicked.
It's clicked, and you still have an echo. Unclick it and see if it's causing the echo.
Is it causing the echo?
I don't know if it's causing the echo. You got to tell me.
I don't think that helped.
Okay, so if it's not that, well, okay.
It's because it's going through the phone, dude, and it's coming back to these headphones to the computer.
Right. So is there another way to? Oh, mute your microphone on your phone then. I get no.
There we go. We're gonna do this.
Even
Boom.
better. You can't hear any of us.
How about that? I can hear you on the phone.
Oh. Well, there you go. Now we don't have to talk with a weird delay, and nobody has to see you wearing the ear muffins.
All right, let's get going.
Ear muffins. Okay, yeah. Anyways, you got some comments here. We'll let you get back to these.
My dogs are fighting downstairs. I hear Marina yelling at them. Good morning, Jerry. What's up? Thanks for joining us this morning. It's good. It's a salty morning, brother. So please, if you got kids, do the adult thing and take them elsewhere, right? I don't talk like this around my kids, and I don't want my kids, which is why I don't want my kids around whenever I'm having salty talk with adults, right? Shop talk with adults. Doesn't mean that I won't let my 14-year-old say shit or something, you know. But we draw the line, right? We teach them when to turn the switch on, when to turn the switch off. Okay, not to just indiscriminately be salty wherever they go. Somebody got to put on some clothes. Yeah. Y'all seen her? Y'all saw her? That shit's funny, man. Yeah, dang. Josh, hey, it's shop talk. You know what I mean? I told you. All right, y'all hear an echo. Good.
Just for the record, I squished the screen down. That's about as much as a guy can do minus this.
Yeah, hey, you're gonna have to give me a hand this morning, right? So, you know, having you on right now this morning as a conversation piece, you're gonna need to help kind of get me running down the track.
Yeah,
get me running down the track today.
I'm trying to help you make it. We're trying to make little adjustments so that way when you do go on your next 4 to 5 hour fuck the government rant, you're set up properly. So it's good.
I'm set up what?
You're set up properly, so that way you can utilize the full capabilities and to say fuck the government every morning as you see fit.
That's correct, right? We want to be able to say that very freely and openly. I think more people need to hear it first thing in the morning, honestly, CJ, because in the back of their mind they're thinking it. It's already there because they're thinking about that tax bill that they've got. They're thinking about how. Like in Illinois, they've been waiting for months to get their FOID card processed, so they can't buy any firearms in the looming apocalypse that's coming. And people are pissed off, and they should be. They fucking should be. The problem is that a lot of them, they don't understand on a deeper level why they're pissed off. They don't understand why they're voting for their own misery. And I'm as guilty of this as anyone. I'm not saying I was some enlightened being, and still not. But what I am saying is that I spent a lot of time researching and understanding government and just following what they do, how they do it, why they do it, where the specific pots of money come from and go to. And, you know, and the one of the most interest to us, of me and CJ and Chris Marks, my buddy who's sitting in jail right now. The reason why Chris Marks is sitting in jail right now, you want me to tell you? I told you probably yesterday and the day before and maybe 10 times before that, but maybe you didn't get it. Maybe you didn't really understand what I was saying. Maybe today will be the day. Maybe today will be the day that it fucking clicks with you that federal funding goes to the state of Indiana. What federal funding? Glad you asked. Title IV-D funding. Okay. This is my buddy in jail right now. He's got a newborn baby. Got a newborn baby. He's a Native American father. Does Native American have anything to do with this shit, or is it just he's a father? Yeah, Native American has something to do with this, and I'll explain to you why. Chris Marks, being of the Miami people in Indiana, cares very deeply for his family and his children. I want somebody to explain to me, okay, how he can teach his culture, what he's trying to learn and to pass down to his children. How can he help the mother raise that baby when they've got him put in jail? This is a working man, you understand? This is a guy who's provided, wants to provide, has fought to provide, has always wanted to provide for his kids, but he can't do it when the state's ordering him to turn over as much money as what they did. Okay, and then putting this man in debtor's prisons, not not ensuring that this man can have equal access to his child, is why this man, who has not harmed anybody, mind you, is sitting in jail. That's why he's sitting in fucking jail. This is why it pisses me off as a working man, and why I wake up angry, because I've got buddies of mine, just like me. Chris Marks was there for me whenever I went to fucking jail, okay? Whenever Lake County put me in jail for contempt of court, which is probably what he's in there for. I haven't even looked it up, the exact charge, because it could be like, a civil, it could be a criminal, depending on the state, right? Depending on the level of back child support that you might owe. In some states, it's a felony. They make it a felony. In other states, if the level's not high enough, they don't. So in Indiana, we're going to find out. We're going to find out why Chris Marks exactly is sitting in jail. And I think CJ could probably make a couple other points on that I didn't do.
Yeah, so Cash, Chris also went with me all the way to North Carolina. And he court watched for me. My dad and him drove down with me to North Carolina when I found out my daughter was being harbored there in North Carolina. And he watched them try to publicly close down the courtroom when I entered it. He pointed out all the flaws in the procedure they were doing. I mean, he was in live time taking notes with a pen and paper, and I'm sitting there like, I just wanted you to witness. I didn't know you were going to be like note taking. And Chris and I, to be honest and full disclosure, he's kind of, has an issue with me that, I'm sure he and I can talk about in due time, but this is bigger than that. This is something where, I feel like even if he was upset with me for some reason, I still don't think the man should be thrown in a cage. I think he's exposing this extortion system no differently than many other people that are going through it. And, but yeah, he was there for me. So I want to make sure I'm there for him. And, he's got a newborn baby I didn't know about. To me, it's really funny that a lot of these fathers that are getting attacked seem to have a very common label other than father attached to them, especially when they speak out politically. And that seems to be libertarian. Libertarian father seems to be a punishable title to have.
Oh, it is. No, you're absolutely correct in that. My judge was a Republican, and he solidified for me, that man single-handedly solidified for me that the Republican Party is a bucket of fuck just as much as the Democratic Party. Okay, because you've got these Republican legislators, just like Tom Cotton, that are passing these bills that are hurting the working man and woman. Mm-hmm. The Republican Party is not for the working man and woman. You understand? Once you begin to understand the mechanics of the federal legislation, how that federal legislation is created by men like Tom Cotton, signed off on by Republicans and Democrats, filters down to the state. Okay, that federal funding comes down to the state, and it services the state, right? It pours money into all of these state channels. In states like Illinois, and probably in the other ones, it goes to their general fund, where it will then get dispersed out. Okay, look, there it is. This is the bill, okay, that Tom Cotton proposed the other day. This is why Chris Marks is sitting in jail. This type of legislation is what has been passed by Republicans and Democrats, both. Okay, you just have to be honest and say it. It took both of them to sign on to it and get it through. Tom Cotton proposed another one to increase child support on dads. He said it. Fathers need to pay their child support. To amend Part D of Title IV. If you didn't know about this, you need to know. This is why your buddies are winding up in jail. This is why when you're behind on child support, this is what's driving it here.
You know, Cash, and another point to be made on this Title IV that if I may, is that we've been talking about the words Title IV defunding of the Social Security Act and Title IV for how long now? Years.
We've been talking about this for years, folks. Years we've been talking about this.
And would you agree that this is the first major legislation pushed senatorially in the last few years regarding Title IV funding?
Absolutely.
So this is their
no. I think there was some on the Title IV E side, but for Title IV D.
No, this is what I'm talking about. The Title IV D side. We all know that Trump executive order signed and steroid the foster care CPS industry. He put that child trafficking industry on steroids.
Do we still got that video of me talking to Donald Trump? Do we got that?
I can look for it. Yeah, for sure.
We should play that. I want to show.
Why don't you look for that, and I'll go ahead and look for some things too. We'll look for some things on our first break when we play some Nick Sky.
Nick Sky's in the house. I've got like hold on. I got like 6 or 7 other musicians that want to even a composer that wants to be a part of the podcast, wants to be a part of the network. So nice. I've got a lot of applications and interviews to get through. Most of them are from Nashville, which is where I threw the ad out at. But I might throw some up in LA, Los Angeles, Chicago, Pacific Northwest. We want some grunge music, right? Maybe some old like Nirvana style. If anybody out there kind of plays that, we want some old style hip hop. Like I love some. Don't
get me wrong, we love Nick Sky, but we
love Nick Sky, but we want a diversity. Look. This is my show.
If you're a polka band, specifically a polka band from
I got a diverse group of people that follow me, and I like a diverse group of music.
I like this polka group from New Brunswick and
Let's
Newcastle.
Get some, man. Get those bands on here. Let's get them on the show. Let them audition on the show. And we will let the crowd. We'll let our supporters decide.
Listen.
How about that?
Listen. Hey, Tom McDonald. My name is CJ Abernathy. This is Cash Jackson. Not only would Cash love to bring you on and interview you, but we'd love to play your music because our audience would love us to see your music.
Yeah, I love Tom McDonald, man. I love that guy's message. I'd love to have him on the show. I'd love to promote his music. If he let me just play his music on here, have him on air, do some performances live, whatever.
Ooh, man, live
I'd love to promote that guy, man. We need to promote more artists like that are doing what we're doing, building this network. Tom McDonald built his own brand. And him and his partner, his best friend, his supporter, right? I think it's his girlfriend. I don't know if they're engaged or not or married. I don't think they are. But I love the guy's music, man. He hits, dude.
Yeah.
I wish we could play some, but we can't. We can't play any, can we?
No, that's why with Tom's permission we could.
Come on, hey, you guys reach out to Tom McDonald and tell him that we want to promote him, play his stuff.
Well, I mean,
but I'm poor as fuck. I don't have the music. I don't have the money unless it's kind of cheap.
Okay, so check this out. So you know how like Tom Cotton here, like you basically have the balls to go up to Tom Cotton and like call him out and call him up and whatnot. Like, hey man, just call up Tom McDonald and be like, hey man, my audience would love to hear your music. I mean,
yeah. Well, if somebody got me a phone number for Tom McDonald today, I'll call him right here on the show, and we'll find out.
Right? Hey, if you know how to get a hold of Tom McDonald,
if somebody knows how to get a hold of Tom McDonald, he's a Canadian artist, and the guy's wild, man. And a lot of people will be turned off because of what he looks like and what he says. A lot of people will be turned off by him, but it is some of the most real and honest. Some of the most real and honest, songs that I've ever heard from an artist. I mean, they're come on, man. The guy's fucking. I love the guy.
Oh, you're back to listening to your echo, huh? Check this out.
Just a delay.
Okay, delay. So check this out. Tom McDonald is the reason why my daughter, specifically Aubrey, one day she was playing and I was just watching her play with her toys. And she goes, "I'm Tom McDonald, bitch." And I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And I didn't know what to do as a parent. I was like, uh-oh.
I'll tell you what, man. You know what I've learned is that it's really kind of those. It's that real blue collar, working class that kids. They're the ones that really hear their dads, and they're. I think maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm from that demographic of people. But yeah, I mean, I grew up hearing salty ass language, and I'm not mad at my family or the people that they had me around. These people looked out for me. They were hard, man. These were hard ass people. They were hard nosed. And I think that's a big culture difference we have in this society, is that we don't understand that there's this working class of men and women. They're just hard nosed motherfuckers. They just come from tough backgrounds. They've got, their moms and dads, and fucking everybody's been in jail, prison. Yeah. We ourselves might not have the prettiest of past, but we're all trying, and we're still trying to get our way up and get our families up there and get our kids up, out of poverty, out of, below the poverty line. We want to get our fucking families up and out of that. And just the way a lot of us express ourselves and the discussions we have, I think a lot of us diminish our intelligence and our capabilities because of where we come from. And we don't realize we're intelligent enough to sit down and read and to listen and to ask more thought-provoking questions and to really get to the heart of issues and how it's affecting our families and our kids and what we as working men and women can do about it, right? Those that think, we're the ones in school that were told, you're never going to make it, you're not going anywhere, there's no hope for you, you're fucking trash, basically. And they had you all boxed in and figured out and balled up and threw you in their little receptacle before you even got out of high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Cash. So another thing that's really interesting is that when it comes to this Tom Cotton bill, what I find the most intriguing is that it's a mandatory job from government. Like, government is saying
exactly. This should be so alarming.
Job, and it's the Republicans that are pushing it. It's like,
dude, yes. Hey,
what is
and
going
when you want to go, when you want to say, look, when black people are saying, hey, and look, when black people are saying Republicans drive some slavery, okay, pull that bill up. This is from Tom Cotton, and the irony that Cotton from Arkansas, where cotton was a major crop for slavery, Cotton of all people from Arkansas, right? Where what happened in Little Rock? Somebody tell me what happened in Little Rock. Somebody, please tell me. Civil rights era, what happened? Okay, somebody help me out here. Cotton from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, Republican, white guy from Arkansas, pushes legislation. This says what, mandatory what on there?
For slavery.
You can't make this shit up, folks. Yeah. A guy named Cotton is pushing a slavery bill. A Republican is pushing a slavery bill. Mandatory work programs. What the fuck else would you call that, folks? Mandatory work program? Slaves were on mandatory work programs in Arkansas, picking cotton. We're terribly, terribly discriminated against. And I mean, there are some horrific stories about what happened to black people in this state and its history. Now, I want to say that the state has advanced significantly. Significantly. People have advanced, not just in Arkansas, but nationally on the issues of race. And a lot of that is because of how social media bridges the gaps, brings us together, shows us other cultures, shows us other lives. It allows us to get to know other people from, being able to watch, kids, experiencing their culture and their growth. We're bridging a lot of gaps and seeing a lot of things through social media, but there's a lot of things that we're missing. And this is something that you shouldn't be missing. Okay, watch your TikTok shit, fine. Okay, make your stupid TikTok videos, whatever the fuck you're going to do, but stay plugged into what's happening in your world, right? Because it's not just all song and dance, kiddos. All these kids, engulfed in their TikTok worlds and their Instagram worlds and their Facebook worlds, they don't understand the harm that's about to be that they're going to roll into as adults. They're experiencing as kids, they just don't realize it. And their parents don't realize what's happening to them either. That's why so many adults aren't involved in the political process, especially those of us from the lower working classes. There you go. And Annabelle's right. And unfortunately, there's so many single parents out there. And Annabelle, I'm not saying that you were the single parent. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of just singular people out there raising their kids alone, and they shouldn't have to, right? Most of these single moms should be sharing equal custody. And as a society, we need to start being a lot better about asking Hey, where's the dad at? Does dad want to be involved? Can I help dad get involved? Can I give him a call? Has he got some issues he's working through? Right? Can we get him in a rehab program if he's on drugs, or maybe he's got some issues from his childhood he's dealing with? Can we help get him into a mental health clinic? Get the father involved, but we don't ask that. Chris Marks is one of those dads that wants to be involved on a significant level with raising his kids, and they keep cycling, putting this guy in and out of debtors' prisons. This is what I keep talking about. It's happening every day in America to good working dads who they're fighting to be involved, and they don't have tens of thousands of dollars to pay attorneys to try and get a child support modification. And when a judge will just shut down everything you bring before them, evidence saying that you can't afford it, not that you don't want to pay any, but you can't even afford it. But I'll tell them I don't want to pay 1 penny in child support because I've offered and asked for and begged for equal custody of my kids. And you can't get it. And if you speak out, oh man, you're definitely fucked. Right? Once you speak out like what I do, they'll do to you what they did to me. And if that doesn't concern you as American, then fuck you. Right? If you're okay with people's kids being taken after they spent 20 years in the military and they've never been charged with or convicted of any crime, then fuck you, man. You're not American, in my opinion. Because an American wouldn't allow that for another American. You know what I mean? And there's probably, in all honesty, more than likely there's something probably wrong with you, right? If you take that kind of joy in somebody else's misery from losing their kids, not seeing their kids, there's something really sick and sadistic about you as a person, and you really need some deep-seated help. Coming from a guy who has been in counseling for the last 4 years. I haven't been to see my counselor in a while because of COVID shit. It's a VA counselor, and he's a nice guy, but like any other counselor, he don't do shit for me. Just sits there and fucking asks a few questions. I get more help right here from my audience, my supporters. And here's what we got to do. Here's the call to action, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. We are funding the war on terror against fathers. This is what this is. Now, the nuclear fallout of that war is our women and children in America. By pushing our fathers out, by incarcerating them like Indiana has done to Chris Marks, by incarcerating that guy like that, this guy will protect his family. He'll protect his kids. He's proud of his heritage. He wants to be a father. And I mean, did we not do enough, number one, to the Native American community and their ancestors that they're having to overcome that? I'm not telling you you're at fault and you should never apologize for being a fucking white person in this country, ever, right? Because we didn't decide how we got here being born on this earth. So don't you ever apologize for who you are or where you come from, ever. I don't care who you are. I'll make no apologies for my ancestors' transgressions because they're not fucking mine, right? They're not mine. I don't want them. No more than I would place your ancestors' baggage on you. Okay? Your own personal individual choices are your own, and that's it. But I think that we've done enough harm to the Native American community, and natives and blacks alike have had a significant degree of difficulty overcoming that. And here's why. Okay? I'm not all in on this fucking victim thing. We do have a responsibility for choices. However, those choices are made entirely more difficult when your entire generation is born out of trauma. I do believe in a cross-generational trauma that transpires from family to family to family because somebody was hurt really, really bad in the past, and their manner of coping in those day and ages, number one, there was a significant lack of understanding of psychology and the mind and and when people would self-medicate with alcohol or any other number of vices there, whatever it was, they sought to get away from that pain. Then a lot of them trying to get away from that pain is persecuted by the state and the actions that they take. We never stop for 1 second to think when we see that booking charge that somebody's in jail. It's always a terrible fucking picture, number one. Okay, if you've never been handcuffed and hauled away, it's not a pleasant experience. Okay, and thankfully for me, and the couple times I did it, it was in a fucking courtroom in front of a bunch of people where I got handcuffed up and fucking off I went. And even when they marched me off in the Lake County Courthouse, right, handcuffed up, because I know what Chris Marks went through. I've been there twice now myself. You go in there in front of this judge, and people like me and Chris Marks, CJ, we're intelligent enough to know we already know we're going to jail. We already know what's coming. We're going to fucking jail. It's not even a question. We know because we're speaking out. What? Good.
Actually,
wait, I can't hear you.
Actually, funny story. I got arrested while in North Carolina for trying to stop the kidnapping of my daughter from her child molester and kidnapper. And Chris Marks witnessed me get arrested with my dad there and everybody. That's why they wanted to close the courtroom. You know, like it was a big thing. And you know what's funny is the day that they arrested me, they said, Mr. Abernathy, and this is the sheriffs that were speaking to me after the judge goes, your case is dismissed here. That sheriff wants to see you over there. And so I handed Chris and my dad all my court paperwork. And then they proceeded to take me back and handcuff me. And Chris actually helped a lot out there, actually. I mean, like I said, they wanted to close the court to the public, which is insane. But they were trying to. And Chris pointed that out. And they made a big deal. And they finally said, no, he's right.
I'll tell you what. Y'all want to call the state's attorney's office? I mean, let's call the state's attorney's office. Let's pull up his booking first. Can we? Would you do that for me?
Yeah. We're going to take a break here in a little bit.
Okay.
We'll go through a few more comments, and I'm going to try to find your Donald Trump video. If you want to send that to me in case, I think you have before, but if you got it on hand, and then I'll throw it up in StreamYard so you can play that on command at any point in the future. And then we should probably throw the Mike Pence one up on that too. But anyways, or make it both combined into one.
Oh, Chris Cole's got it. Chris Cole's got the combination, I think.
Okay. Well, yeah, if he does, like I said, he knows how to use Telegram. That's the best way to do it. So, but anyways, so Chris was there for me, man. And like, like I said,
not Chris Cole.
No, Chris Marks. Yeah, we're talking about Chris Marks today. Yeah. Sorry, Chris Cole. You're awesome too. And if it was you, I've met you too, man. And
Chris Cole would be there for you. Chris Cole is one of those guys. He would be there for you. These are the working men networking.
If it was Chris Cole thrown in jail today instead of Chris Marks, or if it was both of them, we would be doing both Chris's today.
What you're seeing here is the working man going, you know what, fucking enough's enough, right? We're never out there the way that the black community is, or the LGBT community, or the fucking women in DC. Where are my fucking men with their balls and their testicular fortitude, ready to stand up for their working man, right? Their fellow brother. It don't matter if I agree with this guy's politics. You understand me? I don't care what his politics are. I care that I understand that system fucks him, and whatever his beliefs is, and it fucks me too, and you and your kids, right? And when we're witnessing these injustices to our fellow working man, and we're just going, yeah, man, sucks for Chris. He got incarcerated. Sucks for CJ. He got incarcerated. Sucks for Cash. He got incarcerated.
Funny how we've all been thrown. Listen, this is where, again, you should all realize by now at this point that if you have a child and you have the title father, you are and
you're at risk.
You have a high probability of going through exactly what Cash, myself, both,
or your kids will.
And your kids, your
grandkids
and your grandkids. But listen,
are we gonna fix it or
all
what?
of us, none of us, nobody watching this that has gone through the family court system is watching this because we haven't been retaliated against by the state for speaking out against it.
Let's not stay on it too long. You know what I mean?
Well, by the way, I mean, like I said, it's the first time I've ever had criminal charges was trying to stop the kidnapping of my daughter from a child molester. And all that happened was I told the sheriff's deputy, I said, I don't have to care about your fucking feelings.
Fuck you.
Exactly. So they actually
feelings.
they actually stalked me, coordinated my arrest and my assault, and dislocated my shoulder and all this fun stuff while I was in their custody. I even at one point when they arrested me the second time, they had said that I was the most eloquent father they've heard speak in their courtroom. And I said, well, I must have done something wrong because here I am getting handcuffed. And I asked them, oh, is this where you execute people, without due process? Because it reeked of death in this underground tunnel they took me through to a magistrate who hated my fucking guts and wanted to throw me in a cage. The police officer, the deputy that arrested me, and the magistrate worked together to figure out what crimes they were going to charge me with. He didn't even know what he was charging me with when he brought me in. He's just
You're making up a bunch of shit.
And they made up as many charges as they could. They gave me 3. And then when I came back that second time with Chris Marks, they gave me a 4th because I
why they do this?
Because I spoke out about the crimes they were committing. And they said that was cyber stalking because I said their names on social media. And here's what's funny. It was no different than let me pick a comment. Like, let me pick, I don't know.
You know what, CJ?
This one. I call BS.
Hey, you know what?
So all one of my commenters did was say, hey, the clerk of courts in your case and the deputy that assaulted you and arrested you are best friends. Guess what I did? The day before I got assaulted and arrested, I called that clerk a fucking cunt. So what do you think's gonna happen when her Facebook friend's standing next to me and I didn't touch him, I was in line. I was actually the one being served at the counter. Okay, this is pre-COVID, so nobody cared about social distancing. He was right up in my fucking face, and I'm sitting here trying to just get my paperwork and leave, and he is berating me. So I decided to speak back to him while I'm waiting for my papers. And even at one point, he's like, you got to go. I'm like, I'm waiting for that piece of paper. He said to the clerk, he goes, are you done? And with him, and she said, no, I'm not. So I was literally, and it's all on camera. My arrest and assault is recorded. We could watch it.
Mine was nearly the same freaking way. Well, we should play the video, dude.
Well, someday I'm sure we will, but I want to make a point that it was a comment like this that told me that they were friends that got me a criminal misdemeanor charge of cyber stalking because one of my friends pointed out to me that they were friends and that they may have coordinated their efforts against me.
Of course they're friends. Of course they're friends.
Right.
Look, I don't understand why she got angry because, that's only an acronym that means you can't understand normal thinking.
And that's what I tried to explain.
You're shortening the English conversation to be more precise. That's what we do in the military, right? We're much more precise with our face-to-face communication. I'm not going to waste my time
saying you can't understand normal thinking, can you? I'm just going to say you cunt.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to keep explaining to you that you can't understand normal thinking, and that's what we're trying to say to you.
Yeah.
So we do say that you're a cunt, right? And that way we leave out. We can leave out you're a significant cunt or you're a magnificent cunt.
And just so you know, Cash, I spent 9 out of 12 months in Facebook jail for the word cunt last year.
We might get it today.
Yeah. So just
we
so
said
you
it
know.
a couple times.
But again, back to Chris Marks, though. He witnessed what I went through. And now this man is sitting in a cage. Okay.
Yeah,
and so to me, it really pisses me off that I know what it's like to sit inside that fucking box and have nobody. In fact, I sang like a songbird. In fact, when I got done, there was a guy in the drunk tank and he goes, I have never heard anybody defend their constitutional rights so eloquently before as well. And because they said I spoke eloquently, and it was like it was a big word the North Carolina people like to use.
Yeah.
But I was just defending my right. All I said was some simple basic things. Is that you've assaulted me. When
it's
you
not
tell
just eloquently, it's intelligently.
When you tell an officer of the law, you put your hands on me and assaulted me. That there is at no point did any of my actions or words warrant an assault. That's a felony. A misdemeanor pissing you off in the morning does not justify a physical fucking assault from a sheriff's deputy ever.
Never.
Ever.
I agree.
If I own my body, you don't have the right to touch me.
Don't put your hands on me.
Don't touch me. But this was pre-social distancing, and this motherfucker, it's on video. He's like this close to me. I could have got COVID from this motherfucker. He didn't stay no 6 feet away from me. He wasn't social distancing me. He knew that I called his friend a cunt, and he came in that morning with 3 other officers, and they knew what the fuck they were doing. So don't tell me that these guys don't plot and plan, and they're not in it together, and that it's not political, and that they don't have an agenda, because they do. If they cannot put a bullet in your head for you, then you're useless to them. In fact, they know you're going to speak out against them, and they've got a game plan for it. Now, how long has Chris been in jail for? When did Chris get arrested?
I don't know. We need to get that. I just found out a couple days ago.
Or you're just
and you know, I'm brainstorming like, do we go to Indiana? I'm thinking that we might have to go to Indiana for a road trip.
Well, let's see. Can we find Chris Marks booking photo?
It's been a while since we did a road trip, right? Y'all want us to go do we can go do an episode of the Wars Hell podcast from, we'll go down to their, I don't know, can we even get in the doors of their government offices to ask questions as reporters, as journalists, as working man journalists, grunge journalists? Can we walk in those doors, or they have them locked up and they're telecommuting?
Yeah, I don't see his booking photo here yet.
Mama Jackson, I know you're watching. Help us out.
I want to use stalkers knows how to get booking photos. Yeah, we need help from the audience here.
Or James McRae, go. This guy Chris Marks.
Chris.
What county is incarcerated in?
Do we have an offender number? Oh my God. Anybody know his offender number? Good Lord.
Sean, what up, buddy? Thanks for joining.
Again, I'm just saying, it blows my mind how every fucking person out there that thinks that we have a constitutional form of government can literally, we can call this, we can predict it. If you have a child, okay, with somebody who is a narcissist or somebody who enjoys government.
Now, mind you, it's not like we were taught to look for narcissistic sociopathic tendencies.
Just for the record, there are plenty of women out there that understand this, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen to women, because God, we knows we have to preface that every time.
Every time.
But you are the minority, but we still will speak for you, because Correct. This is the game plan.
Thank you.
The other side of the coin. What do they call it? The pathogenic parent, the one that is right. That is the
gatekeeper. They're the gatekeeper that causes the parental alienation defense mechanism from the child.
Right. So, exactly. Now that parent, the one that's usually saying on the internet, "Hi, it's been a few years since I've seen my kids, and I'm literally trying to keep this gun out of my mouth. So if I want to play you a song from Nick Sky, so be it." But at the end of the day, I want to see my kids. I'd rather be with my kids than here with you all, no offense. And so the point is that the narcissistic parent gatekeeps the kids, and then the state rewards that by creating a debt slave, and they incentivize it. And
this is where we have to begin saying, okay, to our friends that are police officers.
And now a labor slave, by the way, not just a debt slave.
Well, here's the thing: is that here's the problem, right? Is that they have blended in the deadbeats with the good dads that are fighting to be in their kids' lives. They blended us all together. So Officer Schmuckatelli might pick up a supreme douchebag who never cares for his kids, who he's what we would call a fucking can't get right. And probably the guy's got a whole host of issues he needs to deal with that makes him such a supreme douchebag. Right. And so I can acknowledge that he's probably got a lot of pain and stuff from his past that contributes to his emotional mental state. Right. And why they make decisions to be real douchebags to people. But even still, those of us who had been there all along, providing for our kids, I've always provided for my kids, and they take them out of the picture. Right. They take our kids from us with no legal basis. That's the thing. No actual legal basis.
Yeah.
Because here's why. Here's why there's no legal basis. Let me tell you. People are going, well, they got a legal basis, Cash, because you got a fucking divorce and you got, custody proceeding. No, they don't have a legal basis because a divorce is between two people. The state is not a party to the suit. It's between like Jackson versus Jackson or Abernathy versus Abernathy, whatever. Whenever they divorce, the suit is between those two parties, right? Not the state. The state makes itself the supreme parent, right? That's what it does. That's what it did to Chris Marks. It said that no, Chris Marks, you cannot provide for your child equally. We're going to tell you how much time you are permitted to see your child. We will tell you how much you will pay for your child, even though it's a child we will not allow you to see, even though 23 of your chromosomes helped to create that child. We will deny you that natural, God-given, Native American, North American, American freedom fucking loving natural right to you and charge you. And if you don't keep up with this slave tax we put on you, known as child support, where we took your child and threaten you incessantly that if you don't pay this child tax, it's like a poll tax for your kids. If you don't pay this access tax to your kids, like me, if you don't pay the full amount, we're going to put you in our debtors' prisons, right? And we're only going to do it for 6 months at a shot. That way we can let you get out, let you go back to work, be a slave to the system for a while. That's why it's in civil and not in criminal, is because this way they can cycle your ass right back out to the state to live in their fucking, in their barless prison. When they put you back out of debtor's prison from being in there for child support, they're putting you back out for the purposes of that was pain and separation from your child and your family and your freedom to compel you to maintain that labor each and every day you wake up. That when you wake up, the first thing you fucking think of is, I got to produce for the state. I have to produce and I have to pay so that the state can receive Title IV funding. And if they don't receive Title IV fucking funding, they're putting me back in jail. They're taking me from my kids. They're taking me from my fucking freedoms. They're taking me from my wife. They're taking me from my brand new child. They're denying me my ability to exercise my freedom of religion, because I'm sorry, how in the fuck can you exercise your religion, right, when your religion consists of traveling the lands that God set before you, that we were born onto without choice? I had no choice where I was born. I had no choice to be born in Shreveport, Louisiana. That's just where I was fucking born. Chris Marks deserves to be freed, and deserves to be freed now, because it's bullshit. We're gonna find out if he's still in jail.
Yeah, and
I want it because I don't know how long. Do they put him in for 90 days, 6 months? I'm guessing as outspoken as he is, he's doing 90 days to 6 months. Is my guess.
If somebody wants to help, there's a public Telegram chat as well for the War is Hell podcast. You can comment there. It's War is Hell podcast is on Telegram. Go ahead, Cash. I kind of was throwing some up too, because there's a lot of good comments today as well. Although some of you, I don't know.
No, that's okay. Hey, look, we have to have naysayers. We have to have people because that's the dialogue. We can't have an echo chamber. We got to have people here that we don't agree with, and we viscerally disagree. We just viscerally disagree. We want you to air your opinion. If you think that me and CJ are the biggest fucking idiots on the face of the planet and we don't know what we're talking about, right? Because we come from the working class, we have no clue. Then come on here and debate us, and we'll settle it, right? We'll do it like men. I don't care where you're from, what your background is. We'll hash it out. I'm not the smartest guy. First one to admit that, man.
Okay, so listen, I'd like to say I'm at least executive producer's title smart, because people call me an executive producer.
You're very intelligent.
I mean, but that doesn't mean that I'm like intelligent enough to know everything, right? So at the end of the day, but I am intelligent enough to recognize slavery when I see slavery. So
yeah, I'm not going to debate physics or chemistry with somebody.
Yeah, like I'm not going to argue with you about Jupiter and Neptune aligning and all these physics and what it takes to. I'm not. But when I see a father or a mother who is on the internet for months on end saying it's breakfast or suicide, and the internet's response is, "Let me just get the live notification when you blow your brains out."
Right.
It's no wonder we live in this weird fucked up world where people like, you lost your kids, who cares? I mean, Cash, I'm going to tell you this, as much as it sucks to hear, as easily as it's 2 years, it can be 6, and it can be all 18 years of their life.
Absolutely.
And
You're stupid. You're naive if you don't acknowledge that fact that is a possibility.
Yes.
Not a certainty, but a very real possibility.
Yes. And these courts amount to nothing more than gambling with your own liberty. And the Supreme Court of this country defines your right to be a parent as a fundamental liberty interest in the Constitution.
Can we bring that up?
Of
From
course.
the Supreme Court?
Of course. We can bring up a lot of stuff on screen, Cash.
Well, no, I want you to bring it up. I'm asking you. It's kind of a rhetorical question, like CJ. Bring that up.
Okay, yeah.
Executive producer. I'm going to give you money at some point in time when we make some. You're actually going to get paid, and you're really going to have to do what I tell you when it's rhetorical.
Right. I get that, Cash. But
I'm not going to abuse you, though.
I don't want to be your glorified Googler, no. But yes, so Supreme Court says parental right is God damn it, Google. Supreme Court says parental right is fundamental liberty interest.
Put it on the screen. Yeah.
I'm trying to get it there.
You don't have to yell at me, man. I'm sensitive.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have a delay.
And I'm gonna have to get a coffee refill, third cup. I'm gonna have to get my timing better. Right? I can't be drinking 3 of these things. This thing's like 20 ounces.
Yeah, so a lot of this comes down to this is just from one attorney's website, but again, it's
you guys don't let me talk past 11:30, definitely, because Marina's got a wake up call in at 11:30.
We'll go.
We could do that for people, like if they've got like we should do that.
Here's Robert J. Frank on a website and Associates. Again, we're not paid by these people. We're just utilizing their content.
Yeah, we have no idea who this is.
The right to be a parent. So again, but the big case that I want to point out is all of them point to Troxel v. Grandel.
There it is. Troxel v. Grandel.
That's the one that a lot of attorneys in family law will point to that continues to break forth. And again, Troxel v. Grandel says.
Troxel v. Grandel, right? You guys look. If you're fighting in court, you need to know this case. Okay, put your fucking foot down. Put it on the record every single time. If you've got an attorney, you make the son of a bitch put in the record. And when I say in the record, you better make sure somebody's recording it of some kind. If they don't want to record it, record the shit for yourself. I don't give a fuck if it's their rule or not. Break their stupid rules, because they break their laws all the time. Break their rules.
Cash, listen to this quote. The liberty interest at issue in this case, the interest of the parents are in the care, custody, and control of their children, is perhaps the oldest fundamental liberty interests recognized by this court. And again, that's Troxel v. Grandel. And so every father has a constitutional right to be active and integral. This is this case. Because again, this was dealing with the pathogenic parenting and the narcissistic abuse and the gatekeeping techniques. But yes, I'd love to see a court case where it be, your case that says that every father and mother has a constitutional right to be active and integral part of their children's lives. I'll take out the gendered pronouns. This right is protected by the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution and is, quote, a fundamental right, end quote, that may be interfered with only in limited circumstances. This is a father's right to parent. And again, this is where, again, we want an updated version of this case because this is the one attorneys use, Cash.
Right.
That they say that it's a father's right to be a parent. This is the biased language. This is the case they use in mind because they say limited circumstances. Now, what defines the word limited? And it breaks it all down. And again, now reading none of this is why the disclaimer's up. We're not attorneys, but we can have discussions about this stuff because this is what is affecting us.
Look, hey, if you've got a court case, I don't give a shit what you're in there for. Look, every time you go in there, just go Troxel v. Grandel. I assert my right.
No.
Why not? Why?
Because that's legal advice.
It is not.
Bad.
It is not. That is not legal advice.
Yes, it is. It's bad legal advice.
No, it's not.
Do not go into a court and assert Troxel v. Grandel because the court's going to open the book and go, oh, in limited circumstances, we can take this away from you. Well,
let me say this. Okay, CJ, how about this? Here, I'm going to meet you in the middle. CJ doesn't want me to say this shit because he thinks that CJ believes that I'm practicing the law and giving legal advice.
I don't.
So look, let's settle this right now. Okay. Number one, I can plead insanity all day long, right? It's no secret that I have major depressive disorder, right? And that I medicate with cannabis as a result. That I have to use cannabis to at least maintain some semblance of sanity. But furthermore, you can assert the Constitution and your constitutional rights. I can tell you this. I can say that, right? Can I say this, CJ? You can assert your constitutional rights every fucking time you walk in that court. And you need to do so. Assert your Ninth Amendment right. See what happens. Assert your Ninth Amendment right and see what happens.
I'll tell you when I disagree.
I am a defender of the Constitution. As a defender of the Constitution, I have a legal obligation. I have an oath that I'm paid to do, despite what the fucking attorney or the Bar Association says. I have a legal, moral, ethical obligation to tell men and women to assert all of your constitutional rights. And if you want to say, I assert all of my constitutional rights on these fucking grounds, and whatever your grounds might be, do it. Because these assholes are not going to preserve anything constitutional in the record for you. They're not. They're douchebags. They're going to take all your money and you're going to fund the war on terror against you and your kids because you don't listen to me and fucking CJ. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm giving you personal life advice. Right? The fucking attorney's not going to, I'm going to call on you in a second, CJ. The fucking attorney, look at anything in your family law, your parenting agreement, anything, and see, do they spell out anywhere anything about your constitutional rights? Do you have any parenting agreement, any final judgment? Was anything used? Was the Constitution even discussed, or your constitutional rights even discussed leading up to it by your family law attorney? You know that they didn't. They took your $4, $5, $6, $7, $10,000 retainer. They peeled through that shit rapid as fuck. And then many of you, they took you up to a critical juncture and said, oh, we've used all your money. You're going to have to pay again, make another deposit into our accounts. Give us 3 or 4 more thousand before we'll continue on. And at no time did you ask about your constitutional rights. Did you assert your constitutional rights? Did you tell your attorney, fuck you, Ronald Bell? Ronald Bell was my attorney. What a royal piece of shit in Libertyville, Illinois. Go leave him a Google review that says Cash Jackson says fuck you. That's what they do. They take all your money and they don't do anything for you, and they never assert your constitutional rights. And when they don't preserve an accurate record for you to appeal. And if you don't have a court reporter, if you don't have a recording, no audio or video is probably going to be provided to you by your court. You're lucky if you do. CJ, you got something.
Yeah, so, Cash, this is why I fundamentally disagree with you. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is why I fundamentally disagree with you on telling people go into a court of law and quote Troxel v. Grandel. And here's why.
Fine. Don't quote Troxel v. Grandel. Fine, don't.
For several reasons. One, it is biased language towards fathers. 2, it says your right can be limited in certain circumstances, so you acknowledge that. And some of their
fair enough.
3. It also it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to be the same in every jurisdiction. So, the thing is, and again, this is like, it might not be like this argument might be old. It's 2000. Like, so, 2000. So again, my point being,
when you brought that up, what did they say in there? What were the constitutional assertions?
So
in Troxel v. Grandel.
My case was a paternity fraud case where the mother lied on the birth certificate to put somebody who was not the father of our child on the birth certificate, and they had the Troxel Grandel argument while I was in court. My attorney that I paid for said, Your Honor, if you do this, you're violating Mr. Abernathy's due process rights, and the court said, I understand that. And he violated my due process rights.
He did it anyway. He said, I understand I'm violating his due process rights.
And
he acknowledged it, and he did it anyway.
Yes, and then I've got it on the paperwork for the rest of my life. But my point being is that, and then they say, no, now you got to take that paper that you just paid $10,000 for. Now go and take that to the appeals court and pay $30,000 to stop the unconstitutional shit I just did right here. I said that's the equivalent of me taking my vehicle to a mechanic and them breaking my vehicle, calling my insurance company up, and they say that you have to pay out of pocket to fix that vehicle and your insurance doesn't cover it. It's a racketeering organization.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
It's extortion of your children and mandatory slave labor. It's slavery. Like, so the point being is that when you say something like, Your Honor, Troxel v. Grandel says I have a fundamental right to be a parent to my child, what you're telling the judge is, but you forget to say, but in limited circumstances, if you piss that judge off, he can just send your kid away and just rubber stamp it to where you are going to be an equity slave in our little cog system. And fuck you, Cash Jackson. Fuck you, CJ. Fuck you, Chris Marks. Right back at you. And then we either kill ourselves or eventually work to a slave's death. That's the point of that system. So to pretend it's anything where you can secretly say just quote this is a misnomer in argument and calculation of law. Hey. And none of us are attorneys, so to say like that would be a fix-all. But you know what? It is a good discussion to do. It's good icebreaker for you and your attorney to say, hey, I'm at least acknowledging that I have a right here, and I want you to figure out the modern right legal language for our time, county, jurisdiction, and case to articulate the protection of my rights so we can get it on the record that the judge or the other opposing party wants to violate one of these rights. And if they want to do it, they have to do it through proper due process, as Chris would say, both procedural and substantive due process of law where there's an actual corpus delicti and the state government cannot claim itself to be a victim. Again, not legal advice, personal stories, what we've been through, things we've gone through is not practicing law without a license. You, Cash Jackson, are not saying, if you give me $100, I'll get your kids back. Like some of the scammers on these chats that I've seen. Right. And all these things that these cottage industries that attach themselves to family law cases and look for high profile cases to exploit. They get this shit in your head that if you just say the magic words, the government's going to go, oh, fuck, we screwed up. We totally were trafficking your children. It's not how it's designed. So we got to be realistic about what we're fighting. And I appreciate Diane saying I'm speaking the truth. At the end of the day, I'm just saying that we've gone through this and I've watched other groups. I've watched other people's organizations. I've seen them come and go in this cause. The movement, the get behind this leader, that leader, the cause. I've seen it all come and go in my time in 6 years, and some people have seen it come and go in 20 years, 30 years. We are not reinventing the wheel. But what we're saying is we're going to have a different style of conversation, one that they can't censor, one that they can't block, one that it's not legal advice, it's legal storytelling. It's what you motherfuckers have done to parents all across this country, and you can't silence us from saying it. Whether it's Cash, anybody else on the other end of the screen. You cannot violate our rights to the point. I mean, think about it. Every parent and you said this before, Cash, you've said that put me in a jail cell and I'm going to come out with a whole bunch of friends.
Can I read a little bit of the Declaration of Independence that we never get into?
Oh, I'll tell you what, veterans love hearing that Declaration of Independence shit. So hit them with that. Good
people should look.
And by the way, we got Mike.
Really have more of a love and appreciation for the Declaration of Independence. And admittedly,
we got Mike G backstage, and then we're gonna take a break. After that, we'll get to Mike.
Mike G. I see Jason backstage.
Yeah, and we got Jason as well. So we got I see Jason now. He's on his stream cleared up. So we got Jason and Mike G backstage. Read some Constitution. Let's get some Nick Sky. Refill your coffees, folks. This is just the beginning of this broadcast. And that, folks, is why there's a 4-minute intro on this shit.
4 minutes. If you can't hang out that long, freaking take off, man. Go do your 60-second TikTok videos. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evidences are designed to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards, for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations. I don't know if I fucking pronounced that right. All having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. That's what we're doing here. We're being candid to a candid world. This is not the market for everyone. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. Just like a judge takes the attorneys and they go back there and have a backdoor deal. And even if you have the best attorney on the planet, they get fatigued down by those that lord over them. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation, say that again, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercise. The state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. You don't feel those convulsions the way that I do? I know that you do. It's 2020. All of us fucking do, even if you don't want to acknowledge it. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution, and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. We've got a pretty large executive branch, don't we? For protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world. Dads get cut off all the time when their passports are suspended, for imposing taxes on us without our consent. Do we or do we not have child labor occurring in this country? 16 and 17-year-olds, maybe I'm wrong here, 16 and 17-year-olds laboring at a job that they pay taxes into, and they do not have the right to vote. And we as parents applaud this, that our children, we teach our children at a young age through our own ignorance and our own lack of understanding and application and accountability to this, allow our children to be raised up, and we teach them the same slave trade that we were taught, that you, my child, will be a future slave as I have been for government and for the state, and they will tell us what rights we may have. They will take rights from us at will under threat of force, and they will sell those rights back to us, all the while leaving us and our brethren, the working man, incarcerated in jailhouses and prisons and debtors' prisons all across this fucking country, for depriving us, in many cases, of the benefits of trial by jury. Did Chris Marks get a jury before they sent this father, this Native American father of the Miami people, off to a debtor's prison in the state of Indiana? For transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. For abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies. I'm going to stop right there. It goes on for more offenses. And while they're speaking to the King of England, there's offenses, there's many that we got to go over. Let's go, CJ. Let's take a break. Coffee in a bowl. Go get it. Let's take 5.
Talking might hear me talking. Let me tell you what I can. What I'm telling you what's inside of me. Will kill me if you give it the chance. Something's really wrong with me. Putting up a front. I'm telling you that I am too. So drain the blood from my veins. Tell me I'm not okay. As long as I'm still standing, I will see a better day. I'm narrow from the bone. Tell me I'm going untreated. As long as I'm still here, I won't be defeated. Talk, they say I'm lying. I'm just asking you to believe. Love the things that brought me here doesn't lie within me. So help me if you can and send me on my way. Take what you have to. There's not much left anyway. So drain the blood from my veins. Tell me I'm not okay. As long as I'm still standing, I will see a better day. I'm narrow from the bone. Tell me I'm going untreated. As long as I'm still here, I won't be defeated. So drain the blood from my veins. Tell me I'm not okay. As long as I'm still standing, I will see a better day. I'm narrow from the bone. Tell me I'm going untreated. As long as I'm still here, I won't be defeated. how close we were to losing it all. And we were content with what we had, even though these memories would be quick to fall. Before we were supposed to keep us safe, would suffocate us slowly once we were happy. We were happy before we grew. We were happy when there was nothing in our hands. The world was simpler when there was nothing we could understand. A sense lost in time like falling grains of sand, leaving us to wonder, where did it all go wrong?
What's up, everybody? As you guys see, Cash isn't back yet. This is Nick Sky you're listening to. You can hear him on Spotify. Just want to make sure I get this put on the screen right for you guys. I've been really enjoying his music. Hope you are too. And again, if you're an artist, please reach out to us, and we'd love to play your music live on the air too.
Suffocate us slowly once we were happy. We were happy before we grew. We were happy when nothing in our hands. The world was simpler when there was nothing we could understand. A sense lost in time like falling grains of sand, leaving us to wonder, where did it all go wrong? Life was simpler before the monsters changed the chaos recipe. For the God inside our heads and changed our chemistry. Before we knew about the danger lurking beneath the surface. Before we learned our lives and purpose. Before we had to accept this was all going to be worth this.
Now watch this drive.
We were happy before we grew. We were happy when nothing in our hands. The world was simpler when there was nothing we could understand. A sense lost in time like falling grains of sand, leaving us to wonder, where did it all go wrong?
Oh man. So I have a habit of sometimes of muting myself. It's a thing. It could be the marijuanas. I don't know. But Cash is back. We're glad you love that song. If you're an artist and you want to hear more music like that, if you want to hear your music and hear people like Katie say they love your song, you could, reach out to us over here at the Veteran Liberty Network, and we'd love to play your music live for people like Katie who are gonna comment that they love your music, and hopefully Katie will go over there and help out Nick Sky and get him a follow on.
Nick Sky.
Yeah.
Katie, make sure you go tell the band Nick Sky
On the Veteran Liberty Network
that you heard us here. Let us know. Let them know that what we're doing is working. We're getting new fans. We want them to know that. Right?
So
that's the
I'm
purpose
glad we
here.
got a break in there. Glad we got a break in there for a minute. So I was able to confirm Chris Marks is sitting in a jail cell in Indiana. Cannot find his mugshot. So that's the update there.
CJ.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You guys are gonna love this. This is gonna be even better.
Oh, is he doing a wardrobe change? Wardrobe change. Well, how about while you're doing that, I'm going to tell them a really great way that they can help support this broadcast, which you should be doing. And by the way, we do have, and this is good news, a new patron member. So thank you to our new patron member. You can help support this broadcast by going to patreon.com/Cash Jackson and becoming a patron member. We haven't put that out there yet today. So it's a slow trickle of people that are dedicated to your broadcaster, Cash, but nonetheless, it's a loyal bunch of people. And so I just want to let everybody know by the end of the weekend, I'm going to have a new outro for Cash. And then anybody that signs up by the end of the weekend, you are going to be on the first month's list of patron members that goes at the end of every video Cash hits that outro on. We'll have your first name and your last initial, obviously for legal purposes. We don't want, or whatever you want to say. If you want to say Little Bunny Foo pays $9 a month for this, so be it. You're the patron. You get to put your name on the patrons list on what you want to support this broadcast. And yeah, that's awesome that we're up there. Again, it's more intimate when it's just it's growing like this, where it's like these first initial people in these first few episodes, they're going to be the ones that when you get to your episode 500, episode 1000, they're going to say, "I've been with you since episode 1."
Right? Yeah. And we're going to have something for them, right? Because working men take care of working men.
But we're gonna make sure that as a patron member that they're well taken care of. You're gonna start doing patron only broadcasts where you share it out, or patron only posts where you share out information only to Patreon, and the only way people are gonna be able to see it is if they join our Patreon. So okay, I already followed him on Facebook. I'll let him know you sent me. Yeah. And that's what we're hoping, and we want more of that.
You ready?
Oh no!
Oh shit! What have I got?
You got to lower the camera a little bit though for us, Cash. We got to see this. Play that Cash Jackson song,
bro. I don't know if I can.
What?
Oh no! Wait.
Are you telling me we can actually pull out guitars on this show?
That's it, dude. I've had this guitar now for 10 years, 12 years. I don't know. Long fucking time I've had this.
And is that what I played?
And I've never learned. I've never learned to play. I keep starting and I can't for whatever reason, I haven't been able to get myself to just stay disciplined and fucking learn.
Yeah.
And and I tell people, and Marina called me out of my hypocrisy, and she got me. And she was right. She was like, you tell me all the time to just get in there, just fucking do it, just do it, just knock it out. And she's right. But I don't know what it is, but there's just some things, dude, I don't know if it's because I'm afraid of it, you don't want to look stupid. We locked up? Okay. Man,
no, I'm just saying, if we can pull out guitars on this show, it makes it all the better for me.
Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? Why don't you play us a song? Why don't you play a song?
I got a song. You know what? I'd have to go get a guitar pick real quick, but I'd play you my song, "Don't Stick Your Dick in Crazy."
Yeah, we can play that.
That
could be my first song.
No, you'd love it. You'd love it. So if you give me a minute, I'll go grab my pick. I'll play you my song. I'll dedicate it to you and Chris Marks today, and every parent that's been thrown in a jail cell trying to fight for their kids. How about that?
Hey, we're gonna bring Jason on while you do that. Let me talk to Jason while you do
it. Bring on Jason, bring on Mike. They've been waiting backstage. I'll go get my pick. We'll play a song today. We'll make this a little lighthearted.
My shit's all locked up. There we go. Jason, what's up, buddy?
What is up? You caught me eating.
Caught you eating?
Oh, yeah.
Did you eat yet?
Oh, I'm working on it now.
Nah, you know that old, it was who was the comedy stand-up? Did you eat yet? Nah, did you? That Jeff Foxworthy?
Yeah, that might have been him.
Hey,
sounds like something he'd do. I miss those days of just funny comics.
Check this shit out, bro. Boom. Just got that done. Yeah. You know what that cost me?
Probably around $300.
$75, bro.
No shit.
No shit, man. I got the guy. If you want the guy that'll do that, I think this was only 25. This was 25 and this was 50. $75.
No
So,
shit.
so if you want something done, I got the guy, right? But I'm not going to tell you who he is unless you become one of my Patreon members. So it would cost you $125, and I got a guy that'll do this for you, fucking cheap.
You already
If you
made
qualify,
me
you
one.
come
I
pick it
just
up.
haven't done it yet.
I'll come pick it up and bring it to you.
Remember, you made
As long as
me
you're
a
close.
Patreon member. I just haven't done it yet.
No, we made you an honorary one.
Yeah.
For the chat, for the patron
I guess
chat.
that's something I actually have to go download on my phone is Patreon. I
CJ,
just
this is
haven't done
definitely
that
gonna be
yet.
more of a I think late night show. Since we've dropped down to our minimum viewers.
Yeah.
Jesus, like we got chopped big time. Did we play some unlicensed music with our guitar earlier? Did I?
No, we sure didn't. We're not that good, Cash. We're not that good.
We're not that good, man.
Yeah. So I know Mike's back here too. You want to add Mike in on this?
Yeah, put Mike in.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
Morning, Mike.
Morning from New York.
Morning, Mike.
Oh, whoa.
How does that sound on your end?
Good.
Really?
Yo.
Interesting.
Sounds really good over my truck speakers.
Does it?
Oh, yeah.
Come on with it.
Okay, so I told you guys I'd play a song. I think a lot of you are gonna relate. This song is called "Don't Stick Your Dick in Crazy."
Get rid of the kids.
Oh, if you could, please, gentlemen, mute your mics. That way, the audio is as clear as it gets for the audience.
Mute yourself, Jason.
He was coming out of the county courthouse. Just realized what he'd been through. He looked over at me, said, "If it can happen to me, it can happen to you." He said, "Son, don't stick your dick in crazy, for you know not what you do. For if you stick your dick inside a crazy, then crazy will be coming after you." I'd never heard those words before, till I walked into that court. The judge looked at me as if to say, "I'm gonna teach you a lesson today." He said, "Son, don't stick your dick in crazy, for you know not what you do. For if you stick your dick inside a crazy, then crazy will be coming after you." And I know these words ring true. God forbid that this happens to you. As I lay down my head, I remember the words that he said. He said, "Son, don't stick your dick in crazy, for you know not what you do. For if you stick your dick inside a crazy, then crazy will be coming after you."
That's a dick.
Crazy, yeah, crazy will be coming after you. Now, ladies, I know you're sitting there going like, "Oh, these misogynistic assholes, they just only care about men." I know, it's stupid, ladies, I hear you.
Get the live chat guys on here. Where are they at, man? You're right.
Courthouse, just realized what she'd been through.
Jesus Christ, you're sounding awful.
You know what? Let me just go ahead and mute Cash for the ladies here real quick. She looked over at me and said, if it can happen to me, happen to you. She said, girl, don't get involved with assholes, for you know not what you do. Or if you get involved with an asshole, that asshole will shit all over you. Then crazy, yeah, crazy will be coming after you. There you go, guys. That song is called "Don't Stick Your Dick in Crazy." And I normally,
Dude, if we can get somebody to
I
like
don't normally
carry a tune
but you
to sing that, that would be really good.
guitar with your audio. You're in the one spot.
And the what?
You're in the one spot, so your voice will drown out everything else's audio on StreamYard. I've already passed that song. I wrote that song. It's my mother's favorite song. It's called Don't Stick Your Dick in Crazy. I even got my fiance to sing that duet with me. For the ladies out there that want to hear an actual lady sing the ladies part and hear it as a duet, that song does exist out there. We did it as a couple.
Dude, we need to get a competition going between, let's get the ladies to sing that song for us, and let's get some clips and stuff.
It's already a duet. That's what I was saying. It's already.
Yeah, let's do
my
it on
voice
do it on
sucks.
TikTok. Y'all go over to my TikTok, pin it up on there or something. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's like Facebook. I'm still figuring that platform out. But yeah,
See, that was funny. That's
That
what
is
you call comedy. So thanks for letting me play
that's
that.
working man
And
comedy.
that's dedicated to every parent that's been sitting in a cage. And by the way, a few of those lines in that song were written while I was sitting in one of them damn cages. So
Right. Well,
That song is dedicated to every military member that's ever been jodied.
Oh man, you're not
damn,
lying.
you
Dude.
went savage with that one, Jason.
Yep.
Hey,
I-
just so we're clear, and I want to put this out there. I was a Jody. I didn't know it until she told me I was a Jody. Yeah,
Oh, you got duped into fucking banging a
she told me that she was.
a dependent.
She told me that the army sticker on her car was her dad's. Put it to you that way.
So you banged a dependopotamus.
I did, yeah, actually, and had a kid with her too. Yeah.
Dude. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I think probably more men out there have than what they realize.
At least I'm man enough to admit it. The
Hey, it wasn't
cocksucker that's
Top's
molesting
daughter,
my
was it?
son- No, well, he's probably at this rank by now, and he's.
Get them going on YouTube, man. We need people on YouTube. We really need to build our YouTube base. Bad, dude.
He was way
These
better
are the
than
platforms we
Facebook.
got to get built out. Fuck Facebook, man. These people have been censoring me for I don't know how long.
Hey, I got cash to create a Rumble account. Dan Bongino says it's a censorship-free platform and with fair ad revenue.
Get over to
for
Rumble, man. Let's go to some other platforms where we can talk freely.
Yeah, no, and so that's the thing is that it's just really amazing to me that YouTube hasn't taken this down yet, but we'll see. I mean, you like with the other show I produced, Adam versus the Man, it's had its issues with YouTube. So
What's a Jody, CJ? Somebody wants to know. What's a Jody?
Let me answer. Let
go
me
ahead,
answer.
Jason. Go ahead, Jason. You got it.
Tammy, Jody is that fucker that shows up at your house the minute a soldier deploys. His name or her name is Jody. Moves in, drinks your beer, fucks your wife, plays with your kids, pets your dog, and the minute you come home, disappears.
Just for the record, I was not that kind of Jody. I was the Jody that she went out pursuing some guy while he was gone, and I didn't.
CJ, I just made up a little ditty for you. CJ, I got a little ditty for you.
All right, let's hear it, Cash.
Jody, 6'4", banging your wife behind your bedroom door.
Yeah, you know what? It really does get to my daughter's molester every time he thinks about me being the father.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, and this is what blows my mind, he's still active duty, you guys.
Let me ask you this. Are you calling him a molester because he's actually molesting you? You have evidence of it, or just because he's a piece of shit?
Mental molestation. Let me preface this. I don't have any evidence of physical molestation, but I call it no differently than a child molester would mentally groom a child. He is mentally grooming my child to believe that he is her father. That is like one of the ultimate forms of mental molestation and abuse in a child. and she's my daughter, and I don't consent to him molesting my child in any way, shape, or form. But the state of North Carolina, they allow it.
I can see your reasoning there.
Yeah, if I was at your house right now saying I'm your kids' new daddy, and I'm gonna make them and brainwash them to call me daddy, and you're just Cash, you would be fucking ready and livid to just call me every name under the sun.
I would jam this pipe right up your nostril, dude.
Yeah, so the fact that this guy has been molesting my daughter for 6 years and he's still active duty should tell you all you need to know about where I stand with the military and government and the Marine Corps.
That there's men everywhere that are douchebags.
Yeah, my daughter's molester's name is Justin Heathman. Justin Heathman. He's in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. He's an EOD guy, and he's a child molester. So,
yeah. If it were reversed, let me play devil's advocate, okay? If it were reversed, and you banged my wife, knowingly or not knowingly, and had a child with her, you not only did you fuck my wife,
I fucked her good too, better than you, by the way. She told me, "Oh, well, your dick looks like this." She told me that she told me you were fucking other dudes. Like, okay, go ahead, keep going. She told me you're fucking other dudes while she's banging me, and I'm like putting in her poop hole. Yeah, go ahead, continue. I'm putting your wife's poop hole.
So number one, I got to question this guy. I got to question his decision making and why. Right. So if he knows this to be true, and he elects to stay with her anyway, I'm thinking in my mind, how fucked up is this guy in his brain? That he's number one, swallowed this shit sandwich, but number two, he's going to hurt you as well, right? And he's
hurting my child most importantly in this whole matter.
Well, the fact of the matter is, innocent people are being harmed, right? It doesn't matter if you're 35 and your child's 5. It's harm to another human being, right? You're just at a later stage of development and depreciation than the child, but you have the same inherent human value as a child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? Am I wrong?
No, I'm agreeing with you that it's
when we always say it's all about the kids, it's not, right? It's not all about the kids. We can't say that because it denies the parent their own humanity. We can't do that.
They're first.
Yeah. If you don't have a healthy parent, you're sure as fuck not going to have a healthy child. You could get that kid you could go and get that child and with that parent, but if that parent isn't healthy, okay, it's going to do more harm to the child, right? But if the state's causing the trauma, if the state's causing the trauma, and maybe that's what happened to him. Maybe I don't know. Maybe whatever.
He's still active duty. And by the way, these people know. Like I've called his unit. I've told them. This is the last real picture I think I have of me and my daughter together.
What unit is he with?
He's the EOD. So
that's fucking fucked up, man. That's actually fucked up, dude. That what we would call a teams guy, or a team guy. No one would say teams guys. It's fucking SEAL teams, but throughout the fleet, some people will make the application of anybody in Spec War. So cyber EODs, EOD, which is explosive ordnance disposal, EOD guys, whatever. I mean, it's fucked up what we'll do to our fellow man, even our fellow service member. And we got to call that shit out. Like, hey, dudes, like this guy wants to be the dad. Okay, whatever happened back in the past between mom.
By the way, he also was this. Just for the record, I was in my daughter's life for 4 years before the court said no rights at all. They terminated my even having a right to my child because he claimed my right, and the court upheld his right due to what Cash. The day Barack Obama got reelected, in 2012, I got this phone call from Justin Heathman, the child molester. No, Katie, it's mental molestation, and I will call it what it is. Thank you very much. He called me up on that day and said, due to family code 7540, you have no right to Rory, and if you contact us again, I'm calling the police. And in that moment, he used a statute. A man who is active fucking duty claimed a statute to me to take over my right, and the court upheld it. And again, we already put my judge, Bradley O'Snell, on the screen. So fuck that guy too this morning. But you know, and
Hey.
again,
Let Mike weigh in, man. I want to hear from,
Yeah,
I want to hear from Mikey G this morning.
but again, just to close out my story here before we hop to Mike,
Oh, my
I'm
bad.
telling you right now that there is, as easy as it can be, 2 years, it can be 6 years. And people, I will tell you, it feels like you have to justify your right to be a father to everyone in the world.
Right.
And it shouldn't have to be this way.
Right.
And
Yeah,
but the
it should not.
government is
You should not have to
designed-
just, you're right. It shouldn't.
We are paying to keep parents from their children.
Right.
And until we recognize that both parties are profiting from this form of human trafficking and unconstitutional rights violations, we're never going to get anywhere. As long as you're pretending your party is omnipotent, we're never going to get anywhere this. And parents like me, Cash, and our children and generations are going to have to relive this slavery over and over because we don't
Right.
want to wake the fuck up. So anyways, that's all I got on my shit. Again, free Chris Marks. He's sitting in the cage still while we're talking, and I don't want to forget that. So
We got a number where he's at. Let's call that fucking.
Yeah, I'll keep looking
Let's get
while-
Mike on. Mike, you want to call this office? Let's let Mike G. Let's let the fucking police officer. Let's get a number.
Call
Mike,
what office?
Mike doesn't want to do it. I'm putting him on the spot here.
Call what office?
So Chris Marks is in jail. You know this, right?
Oh yeah, I actually sent the link to CJ.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to? We call the state attorney. We call the.
I'm having a problem though.
What you got?
I can't get that song out of my head, and I made this Irish war stick, and I want to beat myself in the head with it now. I want to beat myself in the head because
just so we're no, I'm not one of the signed artists to the Veteran Liberty Network. So but you do have the right to hear that song.
I
Not
did
yet.
I
I
did
got dibs on
it
that.
twice. I did it twice. You know, and hey, listen, Chris Marks is probably in for what? They're not paying child support,
Yeah, I think so.
and I have to just to get a little serious here. I did a webinar last night with the God of Law, Armin Osiris, on through one of these Go meeting platforms, and really important for anybody involved in this thing with child support and you're getting raped by the government. You have to educate yourself and understand what child support really is. You have to understand that the federal law states that your child is not does not have a right to be to child support. The beneficiary of child support is not a child; it's the public treasury and the state treasury of your state that you live in, and you have to understand these things so you're able to attack it. And very important, you understand the meanings of words that these folks use in their manuals and their codes, their acts, and so that you understand exactly the true nature of what's going on, because most of us don't. We're all pissed off about our kids being taken from us and they're taking our money. And I hate to tell you this, but you could go out in front of the courthouse with signs all you want. That's not going to help you. What's going to help you is if you challenge them with their own shit and show them that you know the law and that you could articulate yourself and you stand as the designated beneficiary of the Constitution of your state and the Constitution of the United States of America. They don't want you to understand this, and understand this. Any bar member attorney you hire to represent you and you sign a retainer agreement, you just became a baby. You just became a ward of the court. You have no voice. You're not allowed to say anything. You can't represent yourself because you're ignorant. And the only one that could speak to the judge is the guy you hired.
Mm-hmm.
The guy you hired is an officer to the court first, and you fall third or fourth in the pecking order of when it comes to your rights or whatever. You don't have any rights, as far as I'm concerned. They're going to go out of their way to get you to comply or compel you to comply with the rules that they created for the benefit of the public treasury. Period. End of story. They don't care about your children, whether or not you father your children. They don't care. They don't care at all about it. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that's specifically their MO, but their MO, it certainly does appear that way. It's about money. It's business to them. They created a business, and it's like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry, this is not personal. It's business. You ever hear that in the movies? Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just business. You know, after they killed your family, you know what I mean? That's the way their behavior is, and it's a very serious matter. This is no joking matter, and you know, I love humor just as much as anybody else, and I still can't get that song out of my head. I want to hit myself, but you have to do what's right, and you know, and you have to disobey. You have to not cooperate. You have to assert yourself, and you have to do things that are uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I heard from my own family, you know, Mike, you can't go against the establishment. You can't, you know what I mean? It's just too big. You know what I mean? You know, you can't be disrespectful to the judge. And I say, Fangul, you know what I mean? And this is what needs to be done. Most people don't want to do it. They want somebody else to do it for them. And this is where we have to shake the tree and say, wake up, motherfucker, and get your, you know, pull on your pants and let's do this, you know. And if you shit your pants while you're doing it, that's okay. We'll get you another pair of underwear. But, you know, you have to go out and you got to go out and get them.
Get them. Hey, you see what I got on? You see what I got on? You read it.
What it says. Lake County.
Yep.
Smash.
Oh man.
Yeah. On the
What
job.
I'm a pretty sentimental guy, Mike. I mean, like I said, I got your patch. I still keep your magnet on the fridge. It's still there.
You know what's funny? I've grown up since that time. I learned so much. I was very ignorant during those times. I had no way to vent things out. You know, like I said, I was desperate, and I found guys that were like me. I went with Carlos Rivera. I walked from Montauk to Washington. I did all these things, and it stimulated me, and it got me to research myself, what needs to be done, and I found people. This guy Amin Osiris, Rick W. These guys on you. There's resources out there that fathers need to. Fathers, mostly fathers. You know, I mean, I don't want to exclude the women, but it's mostly fathers need to go out and learn. And it's going to take time. I wish I could tell you that you're going to get your kids back tomorrow. I'm very, very fortunate. My kids have been restored to me much later than I wanted. You know, I miss out. I still cry over times that I didn't have with them, like, you know, 13th birthday, 14th birthday, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, and all that stuff. And I have this conversation with my son Kyle, who's now going to be 19. I tell him, listen, we can never ever get that time back. We can only work on today what you know, our relationship today. But I need him to understand that, you know, listen, the world is a tough place, and it's not always your friend.
Right.
You're going to have to stand up, you know, and you're just not going to, just because somebody tells you to do something, you know, you have to think it through. And you say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, in certain cases, these people in authority just, you know, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, and it's a shame. But, you know, you have to put in the legwork. And I learned so much stuff last night, you know, a blessing versus freestone. You guys know what that is? You know what that is?
Yeah, Ted's brought it up a couple times. I know.
It's a Supreme Court case out of Arizona where these women sued the director for the child support agency, and it was saying that they had a right to Title IV defunding. And the court comes back basically at the end and says, you know, the beneficiary to Title IV is not the child; it's the state. And the child has no federal right to child support.
Let's bring that up. Can we bring that up? Let's take a look at that.
Yeah,
that's a really important case. I mean, does anything supersede that now?
No.
Do we know? Is that what they currently?
And it's a 1997 case. This is around the time that, Clinton was in office. I mean, when they created a lot of this nonsense.
Right. A lot of this came out of the Clinton administration. Sure did.
And,
Blessing Freestone, 520 US 329, 1997. Let's go down there and
there's a holding down there. See where it held? See where it says held? Read that.
scroll down again. Look,
Like in the middle there, it says held.
Yeah, keep going. That second paragraph. Second paragraph is what I
Okay.
need.
I can't read it. Can you read it?
No, you got to go higher, CJ.
No, that's what he has it right. That's where it says held. The
I know,
top-
but I can't read it on my computer screen.
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying
can read it. I can read
higher
it
than
now.
my computer screen.
Title 4D does not
Right
does
there.
not give individuals a federal right to force a state agency to substantially comply with Title 4D.
To substantially comply. Now, what does that exactly mean? Title 4D does not give individuals a. Okay, so these women sued the state because they felt that they were owed this Title 4 funding.
Right. And you have to understand that, the play on words, it's so important for us to understand what the
Right.
meanings of words are in law, because it's not the same meaning in Webster's dictionary. The meanings of
Blackwell's dictionary is not
Yeah.
Webster's dictionary.
right. And it's you have to understand it when you read these things, and that's why it takes a lot of time. It's like code to them, and that's why, when they talk to each other, they know what they're doing, and they're really committing fraud. It's just all about fraud, gentlemen. Fraud
Right.
is the religion of government. Period. End of story. They're not interested in justice, the American way, like Superman. Da-da-da. It's not about that at all. It's about business. It's about them. It's about creating big government and using you to do it by tricking you, through fraud. It's
Mike G, I'm ready to start a militia. I'm ready to grow my own militia.
we ought to have a podcast about that. Listen, I've been through it all. I've fantasized about doing all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? And this is why I get crazy about the suicide thing.
Right.
I don't understand. We turn it back on ourselves. I said, I'm waiting for the guy that really just, and hope it doesn't really happen. But I'm sooner or later it's going to happen. They're not going to be suicidal. They're going to be homicidal, and
Right.
some of these actors are going to. And that's when all of a sudden, oh my God,
We've already seen in the time of the last just 5 years or so, plenty of examples of violence used against each other, mothers and fathers alike using violence as a result of these court proceedings. And
Every day it's in there. Every day. You read these
yeah,
things.
so
Every day.
nothing's new on this. And funny story: the Violence Against Women Act no longer exists. They didn't reauthorize it.
Oh, but
they didn't realize it, but
Biden
they still
Harris-
act as if. They still act as if.
But the states still have put it in their codes and their statutes, and so it's just kind of funny to me how people still think it doesn't, like, it goes away like that. No, it's like these programs have been built for years. They will be around. If we don't do something about them in the near future, I mean, I know we've said this for years, but if we don't do something about this now, by the time we're old and gray, our kids are going to be the ones on the internet with the next new tech complaining about how they're getting fucked over in court. So, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to come on the internet to watch my kids bitch about how they lost their kids every fucking day. It's not going to be conducive for a good, moral, healthy living. I mean, but the internet it's a weird thing, because 50 years ago, we didn't have the internet to document any of this. We didn't have podcasts where guys were going live saying, hey, we're not taking this anymore. Mother or father, we have a right to our children, and these courts should be upholding that right, not being involved in an executive ring, an executive branch, judicial branch. Like, all three branches of government are creating this. Like, government is creating this human trafficking ring. And so, again, the core root of all of it, the strike at the root of this, Mike, it doesn't matter. It is, if you have that guy, Tom Cotton, who wants to pass a bill for mandatory work, it was a different senator before him, and a different senator before them, and a different government. But still, this is a modern issue created by two parties that want to create their respective slave camps, keep you stupid, and then as well as an acquiescent slave to their society. This is a part of their society. If you
I'll tell you
don't,
what, let's do this. Let's do this as men right now on the show. Okay. Let's all, each one of us individually call. I'll start it. I'll go first. Let's call Tom Cotton's office, and we'll all solicit each one of us as a reporter, individual reporter. Jason's a citizen journalist. Mike G's a citizen journalist. CJ's a citizen journalist. Let's all call Tom Cotton out of Little Rock and ask them why he's going to pass a mandatory work program reimbursement funding for the states when we have the 13th Amendment. Okay, I oppose slavery, right? Apparently Tom Cotton out of Arkansas does not oppose
I've got
slavery.
his number ready to go, and yeah, I'm gonna call
on the screen for everyone.
I'll put it on the screen, but you want to call Little Rock office, Springdale, Jonesboro, El Dorado, and Washington, D.C. Cash, why don't you call D.C.? Who wants to take Little Rock?
Yeah.
Well, I can't call and stay on the stream, guys. I can do one or the other.
No, we're gonna. Oh yeah, huh? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll call Little Rock.
My bad. Yeah, I've got 3 devices on me.
Yeah, no,
Take that into consideration.
I'll call Little Rock, and you call DC. Sound
Okay.
fair?
Yeah,
So-
I'm trying to find the contact information. Tom Cotton contact.
We got
This is
Frank
like a
Hand and
different-
John Jett backstage as well, Cash.
Who we got backstage?
John Jett and Frank Hand.
Man, I thought
Oh.
you said Joan Jett there for a second, and I about
Well,
nutted all over my steering wheel.
You know what you need to ask him is that how could he go to increase child support and create a work program when the federal government has already ruled that the child is not entitled to child support?
Right.
They're not the
Good point.
individual, they're not the beneficiary.
All right, but Mike, did they create a new court case a week later that says that, yeah, they are? I mean, because that's as easily as they could have done it too.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
it hasn't been challenged. You have to check the court reporter and see if it's been
I don't know.
Yeah,
I still think that somewhere along the lines they forgot that the child's not entitled to child support. They forgot that it's a
No, the child-
fundamental liberty, interest,
the
a
child-
constitutional
the
right.
child does not have a federal right
Do you
Here we
think,
to any support.
All right. Cash, you got the line. When we get done with this, we'll bring on
You know
Frank.
what? Hold on. No, what? I'm in Arkansas. I'm going to call this El Dorado number first.
Oh, you're calling El Dorado. Why don't you call Washington D.C. first? He's probably there.
Fucking pricks are shut down. Arkansas is not shut down like DC is.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what you got.
Like I can call them both. Let's see. I got to pee too, man. I got to go get her some coffee.
Thank you for calling the El Dorado office of U.S. Senator Tom Cotton. Out of an abundance of caution and safety in response to the current coronavirus epidemic, our office is closed, but our staff are working remotely on behalf of our candidates. Please leave a detailed message with your name and number as we are checking voicemails regularly. If you are calling with questions or concerns about the stimulus package Congress recently passed in response to the coronavirus epidemic, please also visit Senator Cotton's Facebook and Twitter pages for helpful information, our website links, and telephone numbers. Thank you and stay safe.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a retired Navy veteran, and I am a journalist for the Veteran Liberty Network. And we would like to interview Mr. Cotton, and I just wanted to see if I could get a call back and find out who I need to speak with to sit down and have a conversation with Tom Cotton and some of the work that he's doing in the federal government on behalf of veterans. So whenever you get a moment, please give me a call back at 479-847-0224. Again, that's 479-847-0224. Thank you guys so much and have a pleasant day.
So the secretary is going to be like, this slave thinks he's going to talk to Tom Cotton. Funny. And they know it's you, Cash, by the way. Like,
They probably do.
Mhm.
They probably do.
at least you're being professional with it.
But I'm being professional. I'm being polite. I'm demonstrating the civility I'm willing to have. Right? But I want to talk to Tom Cotton personally. And
The
look,
minute she hears Veteran Liberty Network, she's gonna go Google, watch the last
Yeah.
podcast, and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh hell
Hi.
no!"
Hi, secretary lady.
Tom Cotton. Look,
Yeah.
Tom Cotton, you are one of the elected representatives in my state of Arkansas. I am U.S. Navy retired, 20 years in the military. You believe in the Constitution, or you say you do, and the First Amendment. I'm not going to harm you. Okay? I'm not going to put any hands on you, but I'm going to fucking talk to you like a man. And that's the problem with reporters today. They don't want to talk to you. They want to beat around the bush. They want to be politically correct. And this is the problem in America. We can't really have an honest discussion with anybody because we've got to fucking dance around the conversation and be, so politically correct about the whole thing. When it should just be a conversation. You're a fucking veteran. I'm a veteran. I believe the policies you're pushing will fuck veterans over and cause more veteran suicide, and that pisses me off. And so I want to have a discussion about it. Furthermore, I want to know who brought it to Tom Cotton's desk to say we need more child support for moms, because that's a liberal agenda being pushed on CNN. That's a socialist, Marxist agenda, communist agenda that's pushed by feminists. It harms men in every demographic, in all races, in all religions, okay, in all sexual orientations. 85% of fucking men do not receive full custody. 85% of men do pay child support. Right? And I want to know why Tom Cotton wants to contribute more federal dollars to the discrimination against fathers, as well as the forced indentured servitude slavery system known as mandatory work program by the state, funded by the federal government through Title IV funding. Tom Cotton. I just want to have a conversation, veteran to veteran. All right, look, I got all kinds of, look, oh man, I got American flags everywhere. I got like Punisher patches. I'm as fucking veteran as you can get. I'm as dick a dog. I got plaques behind me on the wall, American flag over here. Got on a old sheriff's uniform that they didn't get from me whenever I was a reserve deputy. Just want to have a conversation, Mr. Cotton, about why we're going to screw over more veterans.
They don't care.
Sorry, I monologued for a while. But get off Tom Cotton. I'm tired of talking about this idiot. We're going to get him on the air. And if we don't, I'm going to go to his office, or I'm going to go to a banquet that he's at. It doesn't matter. I mean, he could come on the show and just be on the show, or he conduct the show, and I'm going to go find him publicly at like a Republican convention meeting, a Rhino meeting of some kind. He'll be speaking because he can't hide, right? He'll have to speak in somewhere here in the state, and I'm going to find out, and we're going to go ask these questions in person, and I'm going to ask him in the same way. And he could have just came on the show and done it here, or we can do it in person live. I don't care, but I want to ask him the questions. He's one of my representatives. I have the right to ask him. I got a First Amendment right to ask him. I've got a constitutional obligation to have a discussion with an elected representative that's pushing more child support when nationally we're in a fucking COVID crisis, and we've shut down all these businesses, all these industries, many of which are destroying men, and they're falling behind on child support. Their child support payments are not automatically suspended federally. That's what you ought to be fucking pushing. If you're out of work due to COVID, your child support payments are suspended. Yes, mothers who are receiving child support, that would fucking suck. So you better start finding out a way to make equal custody possible between you and that dad who's now laid off, right? That's what you ought to be figuring out. Not how do you force him to pay more child support, okay, or put more pressure on him. You find out how you can get equal custody. That way you can relieve some of the financial burden for that guy and yourself.
And the other important thing, Cash, is that we have to educate the people coming into the city, people that are getting divorced, men that are getting divorced. We have to educate them and tell them, never consent to an income withholding agreement, never consent to an attorney for the child. You don't consent to the attorney for the child. You don't consent to have any of this. You have to get it on the record. You have to fight back. You never sign anything. You know what I mean? You have to force it, because they'll use fraud and trickery to say, well, hey, listen, it's better if we take it out of your paycheck for you, so that, there's never an issue of child support. The bottom line is that the ignorance of the average American person about the true nature of their rights that really are, fraudulent. They need to understand this, and they don't. They have a blind faith in humanity and government generally, because maybe that's the way they were raised, and because this is America, the greatest country in God's creation, the best country in the whole world, and it's based on fraud. It's based on fraud. So the ignorance of and the way they've been taught in schools these days, yeah, the government is good and doing it's insidious, and it's reprehensible. They have to understand. We have to reach out to these guys, these new guys that are, getting divorced. You just got a child support notice in the mail. You got to teach them. You send that sucker back. Don't open it. Send it back. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you have to be assertive. You know what I mean? And don't always acquiesce when your family tells you, you gotta get. I know a great attorney. You gotta get this attorney. You gotta go. He's the best thing since sliced bread.
And that's a big thing to remember is, I don't know about every state, but I know here in Oklahoma, do not sign up for that automatic. They just automatically take your money and they send it off to your ex. Because here in Oklahoma, they'll send you that cute little Visa card that your child support comes on. The state takes a percentage of that fucking money to maintain that goddamn card. But they don't tell you that when you sign that paperwork. They don't tell you. So your kids never see that full amount that they're taking out of your check every month.
And the other thing is that employers have been intimidated by the government to accept these bogus income withholding orders that are not signed by anybody. And they basically tell the employer, well, if you don't do this, we're going to fine you $100 a day.
That's the same shit that they do with these restaurants and
Right.
businesses with COVID.
Listen,
if you don't do the state enforcement policy we tell you to, we'll pull your license, we'll shut your business down, we'll take your livelihood, we'll take that of your employees' livelihood, we'll take the food out of their children's mouths. That's the implication of the underlying threat that nobody's talking about. And that's how they've been able to get away with this shit. People are going, how can they fucking do this during COVID? They've been doing it, and we've not been talking about it.
See, that's why guys like us, we understand what the government is doing with this COVID nonsense. It's all a bunch of fraud bullshit. It's all fraud. And it's
all fucking fraud.
It's all
We're
about
not
controlling you and
COVID doesn't exist. When we say fraud, people, at least I'm going to speak for me. When I say this is fucking fraud or it's fake, I don't mean COVID doesn't exist. I don't mean that it's not killing people. I don't mean that there's not a very real threat to your health or that of your family members if they get it. What I'm saying is that number one, the hypocrisy of the legislators that are predominantly pushing this, those of like Lori Lightfoot, fucking Gavin Newsom, the two fucking douchebags up in New York, these people that are really pushing this and their own hypocrisy in it. Number one, we can point that out. It doesn't make any sense to take a larger populace, or I'm sorry, the populace of America and force them now. Now you're funneling them into fewer locations, the box stores, the big box stores, and even their own employees, they don't give a fuck. So it doesn't make any sense to us. And we're calling it out. We're saying, look, there is risk. We assume the risk, just like with catching the flu and we might die, or our systems might be compromised and we might die. We acknowledge that, and it's going to work its way through the fucking public. And I recommend not going to I'm not going to say it, I recommend. The hospital over here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, I thought they were going to kill me. And I'm pretty certain I had COVID because I was coughing so hard, I thought I was going to have a seizure. And I thought they were going to kill me over it. I treated myself at home. I abandoned ship. I hauled ass out of the fucking hospital, came home and treated myself here.
I know over here in Oklahoma, it's gotten to the point now you can't go to a clinic around here for stubbing your toe without catching a COVID test. So all these people running around out there saying that you can't get a test anywhere, they're so full of shit, my eyes are going to turn brown. You can get tested just about anywhere anymore.
I don't. We have these places out here in Long Island called City MD. Every single one of these locations, there's a line of people over 100 yards long.
Wow.
100 every single location. It's and doing the 6 feet distance thing, and I'm like, what's the kickback here? There's got to be a kickback, and there's got to be some kind of financial incentive for all this stuff, and there is. The hospitals are getting, and these walk-in clinics are getting federal funding for testing people, and there's no doubt in my mind. As long as they reach a certain number every day, and they have records. They keep good records. The government's going to reward them for doing this, and that's why the infection rate number is so freaking high. You know what I mean? Which really means nothing because the death rate is non-existent almost. You know what I mean? Which is the one that really counts in this whole thing, as far as I'm concerned. And and we still have people dying from heart disease in large numbers. And secondhand smoke is a good argument. I heard people dying from secondhand smoke. And it wasn't self-inflicted. You know what I mean? And you have all these people dying. How come the government doesn't get fucking crazy about that? How come they're not, going after the tobacco companies? Well, they did, but as aggressive as it is about this freaking disease, But
well, yeah, they straight shut society down over a fucking disease where you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice in your lifetime than dying from it.
Okay.
But it has complications.
Yeah.
It might live with you. Life comes with complications. Grow the fuck up. We used to have a backbone. We went from one side of this country to the other in a fucking wagon.
Yeah.
A wagon. Stranded on mountains and ate the people in the wagon that they were riding with to survive until it thawed out enough to get down the fucking mountain. But yet, by God, we can't go into a convenience store without a fucking mask because you're going to kill 20 people. It's ridiculous.
Hey, gentlemen, I hate to be the buzzkill. I love COVID talk. It's my favorite conversation outside of family law. But I got to get going here soon. So I just wanted to make sure that, Cash, do you want to keep going? I mean, I know I'm
going to stay on. I'm going to stay on. Probably.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure. So if you're still live for whatever reason after we get done with Adam's show, I'll hop back over.
Hey, did we have progress this show? Did we get any new Patreon members this show?
Well, that's what I was going to say. We can hop out these last minute promotions. Let me refresh the Patreon. Again, you can go to patreon.com/ Yeah, it's because you're the number one mic. Yeah, you can go to patreon.com/ Cash Jackson and join to help support the broadcast. This is going to be the way that Cash is going to build the monthly.
Let me tell you this. Whatever support I get from you guys, I won't give in child support, right? I'm not going to give it to them. I'm not going to pay them out of it. They're taking most of my military pension, giving it to my ex-wife who never served a day in her fucking life. So anything that you support me with is going back into this broadcast to build this show, which is a nonprofit. We are a part of, rather, I'm a show on the Veteran Liberty Network, right? The Veteran Liberty Network will be the veteran nonprofit news network, not just news network, and it's going to grow in other things, hence network. And I'm volunteering my time and my skills and my resources to help this network to grow into a First Amendment militia that loves their First Amendment right and will exercise it viscerally. We will use the 338 Lapua fucking shot of freedom, right? When we talk about our constitutional rights, we'll send out that 50 cal round downrange and fucking fuck up what the state and federal government's doing to you and your family, brothers and sisters overseas, to people across the globe. I'm not anti-America. I'm very pro-America. I love my country. You can't force me out of this motherfucker. You have to kill me on my soil. And that's fine. If my blood ever waters the tree of liberty, I will have lived a good fucking life all the way to the end. Right? That's what I believe. If you believe that shit too, come over, join me in more private conversations at Patreon, right? Where I'm going to share more of who I am and what I'm doing. And I support those that support me. That's the way this shit works, right? This is no more of a one-way relationship. And I volunteered myself thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to help people. A lot of people have helped me along the way, and I wouldn't gotten as far as I have without them. But man, we got to have the support. If we're going to grow it, let's invest in ourselves, not the attorneys, not the fucking bar association. Fuck your bitter baby mama terrorist if she wants to take all of your money. You know what I mean? And not let you see your kids.
Yeah. Well, hey, Cash, I do got to run for Adam's show, but I did want you to know that you have 4 guests now backstage. So, I mean, this show could go
Okay,
who knows
okay.
how
Let's get
long.
going. Let's
And,
get some people in who haven't been on before.
and
How
so
long-
we're going to bring up Sean and Frank and let you talk to them. And then you know how to
Get 'em
add
on
in
here.
Mike and Jason when you guys can maybe finish off in a round.
We'll mix match, man. Hey,
Sean,
you guys bear
Frank,
with us as we
welcome to
as
the
we run this
show.
show.
And you guys have a good broadcast here with Cash. I'll catch you guys on the flip side on Monday if you guys aren't live. And I look forward to moving this show to prime time. So this will be that put the kids to bed talk. So have a good one, you guys. We'll see you.
Later, CJ.
Yeah. They fucking
going
hate
on?
us because they ain't us. Thanks for being there, CJ. Thanks for producing this morning. The guy's done a magnificent job. He continues to do a magnificent job. And he's a part of the reason why this is going to be a very successful, not just show, but just network of working men. And we got Frank and Sean in here. Frank's up there in New York. He is a buddy of mine. He is one of the founders of the Veteran Liberty Network. Him and my our other buddy Tony up there, boots on the ground in DC and New York. No other news network has guys embedded like fucking Frank and Tony. So Frank, what's up, brother?
What's going on? I was hoping to talk with Mike G a little bit about some of this child support. There's some interesting things that we have. There he is. What's up, bud?
Oh,
So we have some whistleblower documents that have been leaked out through the Child Support Service. One deals with UCC, Intercommerce, which is very interesting because it provides the states and the federal.
hey, you guys mute your mics. Mute your mics. We're getting a lot of feedback. You gotta mute your microphones.
All right. So the UCC deals with human trafficking. It's a type of fraud that's coming in here through Title 4D and Title 4E funds from some of the documentation that we have received. More specifically, Section 452G1A and B of the Social Security Act help clarify how some of this financial funding of fraud gets put through. This was Section 452 Golf 1 Alpha and Bravo of the Social Security Act. These were some documents, as well as many more, that provide incentives, but we're going to use a different word instead of incentives. We're going to use the word quotas. The feds use these quotas to push the states to get as many people in, even if one of the individuals is not part or on social services. They are incentivized based on a profit number, almost like a corporate business where the numbers get pushed up each month, so that there's pressure put on the states and or i.e. magistrates, as in the state of New York, to engulf more money into this insatiable beast known as child support. There's more let's see. I'm trying to think of the best word to say this as, but it is all fraud when it comes down to it.
So there's more of it's almost more like a quota driven industry, and where Mike G might could weigh in on this as a former 24-year NYPD police officer, honorably retired. It sounds like, that they're doing exactly what we do, and it's just a revenue generator. They bring more people into the system, and you're saying that there is, instead of it being, well, perhaps your ex applies for support, welfare or whatever, SNAP benefits. Instead of it just being that's a Title IV case, it's more intentional where the federal government's going, hey, you got to get these quotas. Or is that what you're saying, that the federal government is placing some sort of a quota?
Right. It's almost like the federal government is putting the squeeze on the state and or these magistrates.
Well, that wouldn't make sense.
Them into a corner.
Bill.
Yeah, they're painting them into a corner to hold others, not even accountable, but just to to continue on with this pressure of collecting
I
funds.
oppose Tom Cotton's slavery bill. That's what it is, right? Let's call it for what it is. I oppose
That's not
the
what
Cotton slavery bill. Say it. Let's create it. I need some content created for me because I'm not a content creator, but I will gladly portray it. Okay. I need a T-shirt. Okay, something to wear on here. Okay. I will not submit myself to the cotton slave trade. Right? How about that? I won't submit myself to the Tom Cotton slave trade as mandatory work programs, slavery systems for fathers to generate funds for the federal and state government. I'm not, and my children are not going to be the slaves of the fucking state, right? That's where I stand on this issue. Fuck you. If they tell you, if a state orders you to some mandatory work program and you've been trying tooth and nail, you've been fighting tooth and nail for equal custody, to be treated equally as a father in this country, fuck them. Don't submit to that will. Do not submit to that bullshit. Mikey G has been saying it. 24-year NYPD, me, 20-year Navy veteran. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fucking 44 years of experience. Frank Hand, Department of Corrections experience. Sean Lahar over here. He's got like 8 years of Army experience. I don't know what that math adds up to, but it's a lot.
This is business only. And they don't have to be incentivized by anything. It's like being a salesman. You know, I mean, the states aren't being pressured by federal government. This federal government created the Title 42, where all the codes say that, and they installed their federal franchise in the state, executive branch of government, to the Department of Social Services, and they made it easy for them. They said, they told the judges and the magistrates, hey, listen, the more you get people to sign up for in our program for child support, the more money you're going to get from us. That's simple. It's easy. They have the incentive to do it. I mean, so it's not going to stop. But the bottom line is that they're taking advantage of the sheep here, the ignorant. We've been very ignorant to our own rights and into the codes, and this is where we have to change things. This is why guys need to go on the webinar with Amin Osiris and learn about the words and how they're phrasing things and what the meanings is, what blessing versus freestone really means. That your child support is not a federal right for any child. It's not in the Constitution. It's not anywhere. The only beneficiary is the public treasury. That's it. They've made a business out of this, and it's business. They don't care. And, and when you go up against them, it's like stealing them. It's like you're stealing money now from their salary. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something, Mike. Let me tell you something. Let me tell the viewers here that people probably don't realize. Yeah. I would venture to say, number one, that I'm on a government watch list. I was informed in Lake County, Illinois, that my name was on an internal document shared between judges that labeled people like myself as problematic litigants, somebody who asserted their constitutional rights. I was in the military. I was active duty. And plenty of people are pissed off that I'm standing here in this fucking uniform right now, but they're not more pissed off about the message that I'm conveying and what I'm telling, which is why they're part of the problem. Okay. But exactly what Mike G has been talking about, why Sean's here, Frank's here, I'm here, is as people that served our country, our communities, we believed we were there. We were doing the right thing. We were there for good reasons. We wanted to provide for our families and have careers. But then we still got treated like this in the system, even though arguably we did everything right. Between all of us on this feed right here, 5 of us, we've probably got 60 years of defending the Constitution between us, right?
Yeah. Listen,
probably 60 years.
They eat their own. They don't give a shit about that. They eat their own.
Yeah, they don't. Which is why the service members that are getting pissed off at us, the police that are getting pissed off at us, we need to have a real conversation, fellas, because you're still in the military, you're still in the police, you're still working for the fucking sheriff's department. Where was it? I had on, I still got this in my damn closet. I was a reserve sheriff's deputy for Lake County, Illinois, right? Volunteered hundreds of hours whenever I was a recruit division commander pushing boots. I need to put my red rope on. That'll really piss them off once I get the red rope on here. They don't care. They'll fucking eat you. They don't care. All this pro-military shit you see up in these courthouses, this pro-police shit, It's all a facade. It's all bullshit. They'll eat their own all day long. Ask Frank Han, who worked for the Department of Corrections. Ask Sean. Ask Jason. Ask Mikey G. Ask me. You know, I got an honorable discharge, right? Mike's got an honorable retirement, right? These guys got out honorably. They weren't dirtbags.
No, but IAB knew about me. IAB knew about me. You know, I've been through the ringer with investigations and all that stuff. You know, I have when you look at my personnel file, they're going to see all this stuff, and a lot of it had to do with my ex. You know, and you know, but I'm sure they know about a lot of us. It's been said about me too when I go to Suffolk County Family Court. You know, I'm one of those guys. One of those guys. You know what I
You're
mean?
a Suffolk County guy, huh?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Wait, you're
yeah,
from
a lot
Long
of
Island?
fraud out there.
What's that?
I've been working. I've been working some cases out in Suffolk and Nassau. There, I'm up in Dutchess with a bunch of those ticks and leeches, but I know that area is notorious. We're dealing with the Valva case out there, the Jack Noreen case out there. This guy Josh, his story is very sick. His little girl's getting abused heinously.
Heinously, right? And that's why this is part of the reason why I'm wearing this uniform, right? That's part of the reason why I inverted American flag in 2016. Sean, I want to hear from you, man. We haven't heard a lot out of you this morning. Good morning, bud.
Hey, good morning, guys. No, you've been on this Tom Cotton thing for the last couple of days, and I actually just pulled it up this morning right after the show started, and I've been kind of reading it, and then I went over to the bill, which, as usual, you can't understand because it's all attorney stuff that unless you're an attorney or you have so much experience with reading the law and terminology and stuff like that, you really don't understand. So, but one of the things that I wanted to touch on in the bill, well, the article in the bill that he quoted, and I had it up just a second ago, but it says child support enforcement is one of the most effective anti-poverty programs in the country, lifting more than 1 million families over the poverty line each year. However, approximately 1/4 of child support cases aren't paid, often because the non-custodial parent doesn't have a job. So what you're saying is, or what he's saying is, and this is what he's doing, and this is what we see politicians do every single day. They fire up their base with some random bullshit that everybody else understands is complete bullshit except for their base. So we see the Democrats do it, we see the Republicans do it, and this is what Tom Cotton's doing. This is what Tom Cotton's doing right now. What he's saying is, and what he's telling his constituents is, 1/4 of all of the people that don't pay child support, people are under the poverty line. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna get you a job.
Right.
So we can tax your money, and then we're going to take all of the rest of that money, and we're going to pay it to your custodial partner, whatever the fuck that is.
They can take up to 65% of your income.
Correct.
65% working men and women.
Exactly. So what we're doing is we're taking the custodial parent out of poverty, but we're leaving the non-custodial parent in poverty. So you're doing nothing except screwing the non-custodial parent over, which we know for a fact in all 50 states and DC, the non-custodial parent will always be the father, except in some circumstances.
So we can't use always. Mostly.
I mean, okay, 98%. I'm being generous with 2% there, but 98% of the time it's going to be the father. So the vast majority of non-custodial parents are the fathers. So you have fathers busting their asses trying to pay child support and maintain their own home, and God forbid they have a second family, because now they have two extreme households. Exactly. Right? But the second you do, if you get remarried, the state can actually say, hey, that's more income. We can actually raise your child support because you have a second income. So now so essentially what this whole thing is this bullshit. You're telling me that 1 million families are over the poverty line each year because of child support enforcement. What you're not saying is that's the custodial parent, whoever that is, mainly the mother. So you're lifting mothers out of poverty, which probably 90% of them don't have jobs because they're making so much money from the father that they don't have to get a job. Or if they do have a job, it's part-time and they can supplement their income that they get from the father, no matter, or the non-custodial parent, they can supplement the income with whatever, even though they may be able to make more money than the father can make in some civilian job. So you're not doing anything but creating more poverty. This is the same thing with taxes. This is the same thing with building codes and all of that other stuff. You can literally apply this bullshit to everything that the government does to help with poverty, which you're fighting a war on poverty that doesn't need to be fought. But we're gonna tell our base that, hey, we're creating jobs for people, even though it's to create jobs to support somebody that two adults can't do together.
All that we're,
But in the business world
people
too.
clearly understand that all we're really asking for is the equality that is so espoused in this nation, especially from the left, But people, these are honest numbers. We're not inflating. Okay, these are honest numbers. It is so significantly lopsided, and it doesn't make us anti-woman to point it out. It means we acknowledge they're pushing men out disproportionately because we are the protectors and we are the providers, and we are more prone to be silent about the abuse that is heaped upon us, whether it's from our spouse or from the state government. We are more likely to eat the shit sandwich and still go out and toil and try and make a fucking living, because the average person doesn't want to deal with the hassle. They don't want to fight the fucking state. They don't want to invest this kind of energy and have their kids taken from them. They just want to go on with their fucking life and be equally involved. And that's not asking too much. It's not asking too much to not be bankrupted, right? You've been a successful fucking correction officer. You've been a successful farmer. You've been a successful police officer. You've done everything right up until you went to a fucking divorce, and then it's okay to just run you through the meat grinder and shit you out all over the field, and to tell you now you're in a mandatory work program. You're a slave to the state when you've got arrears of up to 60 to 65%. Your ass is going to be working full fucking time, and they're going to impute your income. They're going to make it higher, and you will be a permanent slave to the state because of the Bradley Amendment, and it's an unexpiring lien on you. You're perma-fucked until you die. Right?
Well, if you think about it, it's the exact same thing that the VA does to vets. Think about it. How many education programs does the Veterans Administration have for vets? Instead of bringing you up in your percentages to based on your injuries, they'll hand you education pamphlets to re-educate you, to get you a different job. Instead of helping you with your injuries, they want to ignore the injury and get you in a job where you're sitting on your ass. That's my service dog, my bad.
Oh, you good?
I probably got them all fired up because I was yelling.
Right. Dog yeah, Jack, fuck them up.
Well, I think one of the big things, and I actually used the program. It was vocational rehabilitation through the VA because I expired my my post 9/11 benefits, but it's not a bad deal. But it's literally if you have your GI Bill and then your post 9/11 GI Bill, then you have your voc rehab, which depending on how much of your one of those bills, I think it's a post 9/11, depending on how much you have left over, they can actually give you up to 1 to 2 more years of your vocational rehab, or you can trade in all of your your post 9/11 and use voc rehab. The great thing about the voc rehab program is that you can get your degree and then they actually help you find a job. So it's they have programs, but I agree with you on adjusting percentages and stuff like that, but a lot of people abuse that system, and the VA I think realizes that. So they take a little bit more care on underrating you and then you appealing it and maybe getting a higher rating. At the same time, though, that you have people that are really fucked up that the VA is denying because they can't prove it all the way back to whenever during service. So, which is bullshit. If you have military service and you have some injury, you should be able to claim that no problem. The VA say, yeah, we're going to take care of it. But it's another government program that's not designed to help you. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these guys, they have some injury, they get surgery for it, and now they're better, and the VA reduces their rating because you're getting better. So now they can say, well, now, you just had this surgery, so we're going to go ahead and reduce your rating, and then we're gonna because you're healthy now. And the way that they do, I bumped my computer. So the way they do all the rating bullshit is craziness anyway. So the upside is that most states recognize the fact that your disability cannot be used as child support. However, if you are a veteran and you have your disability and you're working, you can say that, and somebody said that most men hide their income, but it comes down to a point where some of that income can't be used, but they're going to max out what they can use because they know you're getting your disability. So when you go through all this stuff, the best thing to say is you don't get any VA disability. They can't prove it. Right.
Well, and it's not giving you legal advice, but that's saying that because the states are breaking. And I'm going to read it here. This is 38 USC or US Code 5301, non-assignability and exempt status of benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the veterans disability benefits that he's. God damn it! If my phone will cooperate. Yeah, I know. It's hiding it from me. Hold on a sec. This is what he's talking about. The states are illegally attaching federal disability benefits and including it as income on veterans like myself, okay, when they don't have the legal right to do so. They're relying upon outdated case law known as Rose versus Rose. It has since been corrected, that little loop that they did, by Congress. The Secretary of the Veterans Administration retains sole discretionary authority over veterans disability benefits, and the assignability of those monies, or to redefine that to say it's income of any kind, only the Secretary of the VA has that authority vested into them by Congress, by congressional powers through the War Powers Act. They have that authority, but the states don't because of the Supremacy Clause and because of the wording of 38 USC 5301. And the Supremacy Clause. Federal law supersedes state law, which again is why all of these domestic issues we're talking about are not a states' rights issue. This is a federal issue. In every way, shape, or form, they have made it and continue to make it a federal issue, i.e. Tom Cotton's bill.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that we have now gotten to a point where we rely on the state so much that the state starts relying more on the government, and the government pushes these incentives out to the state to follow some bullshit. Prime example, when I was working at Fort Campbell in 2015, I think is when it was, the state actually came out and said, hey, look, we are going to pass an open container law so that way we can get more money from the federal government under the National Highway Safety Traffic, whatever the fuck it's called. So the federal government would give the state money that the state didn't need because they were already in a surplus, as long as they passed a open container law in the state of Tennessee. This is 2015. Most states already have an open container law. I remember growing up as a kid in Arizona, there was an open container law for as long as I can fucking remember. But 2015, Tennessee's like, hey, we're going to pass an open container law just so we can get this money from the federal government. It's the same thing now with everything else. We rely on the government funding because for some reason, most states can't control their own budgets. So now that they don't run at a surplus, they're running at a deficit, and now they're begging for money from the federal government, which is still our fucking money.
Right.
You tax the shit out of me to give it back to my state because I'm in Florida now. I don't pay state tax, but I'm paying federal income tax for my state to get my taxes that they're not going to use it for what you say you're going to fucking use it for.
Fuck, you hit it. You hit it. They just send the money right back. The states, they take all this money from their citizens, and then you got to fucking, they institute all these state programs, and then they ask for these federal dollars to come back to them.
Exactly. Hey, come to Florida. We're not going to charge you a state tax on your income, but you pay, between 25 and 35% on your federal income tax. We're getting your money anyway. We're just getting into some fucking program that's going to turn you into a criminal for no fucking reason.
Right. That's what they're doing with working men and women out there.
So federal grant money now gets assigned to certain nonprofit programs, such as in New York. Mike, I know you're familiar with the Safe Center out there in Long Island. Okay, now this is money laundering that happens. This money, there was just a $40 million grant awarded to the Safe Center in Long Island to bring awareness at what child traffickers look like. It is the most bullshit presentation I've ever seen. We have it on the veteranlibertynetwork.org page. This guy, Scott.
Hold on. Let's see if I can get it. Hold on.
Because this video is not worth $40 million, first off. Now this money gets allocated to different contractors and also nonprofits to divvy up this money into bad faith programs. We can trace this money to specific individuals that have vested interests in allowing this human trafficking to continue. These are not allegations. We have documented money trails as well as other substantive information, most specifically in Nassau and Suffolk County, Long Island. This shit is huge.
I'm going to see if I can get this to play. Give me a minute. Oh, shit, it's an hour and 22 minutes long.
That's all right. The beginning of it's kind of funny. But people can, watch it on their own time.
Yeah, well, I wanted to see if I could play just a little bit of it so they can see what you're talking about.
If anybody remembers that Dave Chappelle skit where he's got those white lips, there actually is there's a female in the hospital. Yes, exactly. There's a female in the hospital that was all assaulted, supposedly. She's got the white lips. Meanwhile, in 2 minutes later, she's not lethargic, and she's just instantly come back to life. It's quite amazing. And she was an alleged victim. I'm not going to say that it's not true because I cannot say that it's not. However, see for yourself. It speaks for itself on what this looks like. And it reminds me of the Dave Chappelle skit.
You guys seeing this?
Yeah. We can skip forward a little bit. It's funny, this guy Scott coming up, this is Anna Kaplan.
Oh, fuck. I don't think I can do it. I think the audio, Jesus, that's atrocious.
You might have to mute your mic and then let just the audio play over the...
The problem is that I can't mute the mic on the telephone, which is the microphone that's picking me up. I've got the one on the computer muted, but it's not letting me mute both mics. It's only letting me mute.
Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can, because I pulled it up earlier. Let's see if I can screen share it, and then I can work it from my end. Give me 1 second.
Let's see if we can do that.
Okay, it's right there. Streamlab. Share screen. Chrome tab.
Man knows what he's doing.
That one. Sure. Can Can you guys see it?
Hold
Okay,
on.
give me one second.
Let me turn mine off.
Give me 1 second.
Now try it.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so it should be that one.
If you can screen share yours, maybe I can enlarge you, give you the screen.
All right, 1 second. Okay, can you guys see that?
Nope, not yet. Nope. Solo layout.
It says it's being shared. Maybe it's not working because I see it right here on mine. You're in the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Well, it's probably because, yeah, we're figuring out this platform, right? Working men and women figuring out this platform so that we can better network and share our information. This is information sharing and discovery of how government's functioning. And we're just talking about this shit from a non-PC level, right? Shop talk. Safe for your kids.
Let's try this.
Unless you might be having some progress there. I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, it says it's sharing this tab to StreamYard. I can't see because I can't pull both of them open at the same time.
Hold on. Wait. Let me try this. I've got two Sean's on here, so maybe that's what it is. Hold on.
Yeah, it might be the second. We might have to pull up the second. There you go. All right, let me see.
Boom. Hey, we figured some
And
shit out.
I want to draw your guys' attention. This guy, Scott. Look at his last name is Scott, but look at his first name on here for this presentation, because you'll be able to easily pick that up.
Okay, Scott, you said?
Yeah, he comes after Anna
Hey,
Kaplan
enlarge
here.
that. Enlarge the screen, please, Sean.
And
How's that?
Scott, who will be speaking, he is the Director of Education for the Safe Center.
Thanks for putting us onto this, Frank. Frank's up there in New York, right? So who is this we're seeing, Frank?
So this is Anna Kaplan right here. She is a representative out in Long Island.
Right.
This is her presentation of the results of the $40 million grant that she received. Where
Okay,
she
so
introduces.
What was this grant for?
This was a grant for educational purposes to bring up awareness on what child traffickers look like. Remember, we were speaking the other day how with Snoop Dogg.
Okay, so she got $40 million. She got a $40 million grant. Now, is this just for the state of New York?
Yeah, no, more specifically Long Island and in
a
her
$40
region.
million grant for Long Island. Okay, and do we know where this $40 million was spent? Do we have any access to a budget where they spent the money at?
We are still working on obtaining some of this. We have made some substantive links, but Sharon Scott here, the picture of the gentleman in the suit and tie, also has several other names, but today he's going by Sharon Scott.
Sure.
We do have some FOIA and FOIL requests in to obtain where some of this money has gone. We are waiting on some rebuttals from them.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if we can somehow get the audio, but
We got any audio there, Sean?
I turned the audio down because you guys were talking and I didn't want it to be like fighting over it. I could turn it back up though.
Yeah, let's put this full screen and play some of it. Let's see. Let's talk about human trafficking. $40 million. Let's see how it's uncovering and discovering human trafficking in Long Island. See if we agree with this. Come on. Come on. I don't guess it's going to work, huh? There's no volume.
Somehow.
Hey, let me know if there's like a spot you guys want to pause at and talk about, and I can work that from here too.
We're getting no volume, right? So I don't know if that's on my end. Is it?
Can you share that link in the private chat?
Yeah.
Sure.
Put that link down, man. You guys go watch this. Some of you put a little time into this. I'll tell you what. Put it in here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Well, it doesn't matter with mine. until I get this audio shit figured out. All right, we'll come back to it. Fuck it. So they got $40 million, Frank, right? In Long Island.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have any idea where they spent that money? Like, what was the analysis done on? That's what I want to know. Let me look. Anna Kaplan, $40 million grant. I'm gonna look it up. Let me see if I can find something else.
Obsession. Many people I've seen on social media post about how traffickers are driving around in vans and snatching children again. In society, we have this strange obsession with white vans, where we think people who harm our children only drive white vans. A side note, interesting story. I was doing a training with one of my colleagues at a daycare.
Is Anna Kaplan an ally in any way, shape, or form? Because I don't know a lot about her. Is she an ally or somebody that is friendly with the Trump administration, or is she Democratic material? I don't know enough about her. Somebody's gonna have to educate me. Or I'm gonna educate myself, unless somebody else can tell me anything about her.
I'm not going to say she's an ally for us. What I am going to say is she is an ally for social services to expand. She is not a problem solver to go to the root cause on preventative, but instead she is a individual that wants, or a proponent, or an individual that is a proponent of the system to keep on facilitating.
Okay. So in all of what you just said, I just heard she is not an ally. She is a proponent of the state and the state's authority and the large bureaucratic government. Is that right?
I would say that's accurate.
Okay. Well, I trust my buddy Frank. I will verify, but I trust him. Trust but verify. That's what we say, right?
That's what we say. That's what we do. We are vetting each and every at this point. Before we state anything, we are verifying. I wish we could get some of that video to play too right now, because it would be some interesting topics to speak about. Or if somebody wants to chime in after looking at it. I don't have any access to comments right now, but maybe somebody will type in after seeing it.
Yeah. So, sorry. So what you're saying is, and basically what this is, it's the same thing like any other. When somebody jumps in and says, "Hey, look, this is a problem that we're having right now," the only way to fix it is for there to be more government, and that's what it's what we're seeing every time. Because what she's saying is there's all this sex trafficking and all this sex trafficking and all this sex trafficking. The only way that we can solve it is if you let social services take care of it. Right?
Well, the problem, right. But the problem I have with this is that this shit's been going on for 50 years, right? And
yeah, it's the same war on drugs and prohibition and all of that.
So the fucking shit ain't working. So why are we continuing to do the same formula?
Exactly.
That's my qualm.
No, I completely agree with that, and that's one of the things that that I talk to a lot of my friends and stuff about all the time too. Is my Republican friends and all of this stuff, you guys want smaller government, and yet you're doing nothing to help reduce the size of government, because you keep letting people like this woman say, "Hey, look, the only way to solve this problem is to let there be more government." If we literally want to have a small government, people have to realize that personal accountability is the only way that we make this happen. And we talk about dads going to jail for months and months and months on end for not paying child support, and we're talking about sex trafficking in the same breath, because we've learned from the Drug Disorderly podcast that most of the kids that are in this sex trafficking shit come from broken homes, from people from foster homes and stuff like that, because mom and dad can't take care of the kids because dad is in jail because he can't pay child support, and mom's a piece of shit anyway, but the state gives her the fucking kids, and they're like, "Oh, hey, mom just OD'd, we got to do something with these kids," and instead of giving them to dad because he's in jail, He goes
Or
to
not.
freaking.
Oftentimes he's not.
or
He's not even informed. He might. Let's not stereotype that dads in jail. There's a lot of good working
Yeah, no,
dads.
I don't. I don't mean to do that, but
I know.
as the
I want
argument,
to make sure that people know that, right?
Like mom never lets dad see the kids, so the kids don't have a relationship with dad, so they can't go there. So we put them in a foster home. Foster parents are like, hey, we got this new kid, like we could probably make some money off this, and they do bad shit. And pedophiles are serving weeks and months in jail, as opposed to dads who probably didn't pay child support and are spending years in jail or a year in jail or whatever. Pedophiles are getting out sooner than them. We have a strong problem here with how we deal with shit that needs to be dealt with. If dads were allowed in their kids' lives all of the time, there wouldn't be we wouldn't have to deal with jail. And like we were talking yesterday, this is a contract between two people, a husband and a wife. Make a contract when they get married. The state butts into it. It's just like me selling cash or Frank a car, and the state going, hey, you got to register that car. You got to pay your taxes on that car. Oh, we have to put new wheels on the ground taxes and all this bullshit.
Let me cut you off for just a second, bud. You guys see what I'm sharing here? Do y'all see the screen?
It's kind of small for me.
Yeah, it's a little small.
A little small. All right. Well, let me read it.
There we go.
Off my screen because I'm not certain how to increase the size right now. I've struggled with that problem for many years, and the pills didn't work. So let me read this. Grants awarded under fiscal year 2017 OJP programs include the following. Okay, that's the Office of Justice Programs. So the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Jesus, today announced more than $47 million in funding, and today was this was 2017. So we're 3 years later here. 47 million given in funding to combat human trafficking and provide vital services to trafficking victims throughout the United States. Now, this fourth paragraph here. The grants aim to support the criminal justice system's efforts to investigate and prosecute all forms of human trafficking, all forms except for the ones sanctioned by the American government in the states. They're to offer victim services through experienced providers and seeks to strengthen communities' responses to the sexual exploitation and forced labor of victims. We create more victims because children are far more likely to be sexually abused, molested, neglected, and raped at a far higher percentage when they are in fact in state custody. Okay, and we have Jason, who's one of our frequent guests here, who has been a foster parent, right? And I've talked to many foster parents that they've identified many of the same things that we're talking about in how the state is fucking this up, right? Something well-intended to those of us who care about kids and we want to see kids protected. This is a well-intended program for the government and kids at risk. But we are not having a large enough discussion about how many of these kids winding up in human trafficking got there because the state pushed their parents out of their fucking lives and they violated due process rights most times in doing it. Okay. And they're telling us then that they're there to help with the community's responses to the exploitation and forced labor of victims. You mean like a mandatory work program, Tom Cotton? That's a forced labor program. By raising community awareness and providing training and technical assistance. Training and technical assistance means we will teach you how to separate children from parents and thereby making these children more likely to end up in our human trafficking rings, that we can take more money from the American people willingly because they want to stop human trafficking. But yet we're funding it and we're putting more money towards it. And this is another indication of that. This is more money. The human trafficking rings are predominantly being created by the fucking states. Am I wrong? Am I fucking wrong here?
No, that is correct. And that's where the transfer money comes in. And looking at this as a bigger picture too, when this grant money is received to the government, it's now split off into agencies. These agencies also hire subcontractors. These subcontractors and these agencies, they have business offices.
Private contractors. When you say subcontractors,
Private
you're talking private industry making money.
Right, which all comes down to UCC. It's a commercial code. They're laundering money between the feds to the states to the agencies to contractors. It deals with real estate property. If we go and we look, I know firsthand, for example, in Dutchess County, my children's lawyer owns property where the forensic shrink, we'll call it, along with some of these psychiatrists, the children's lawyer is a vested landholder in the office where my children went to go see a shrink and supervise visits. He was the one that referred to the judge the name of the place to go to. That's a little disturbing. There was no option. There was no choice. It was specifically directed to this. That is a form of human trafficking. They're making money off.
They're not committed to combating all forms.
What's that, Cash?
I said they are not committed to attacking all forms of human trafficking because they themselves are involved in it. Human trafficking rings in America would nearly fail to exist, in my opinion, if number one, so let's take the sexual exploitation of women, for instance, women and children and men, right? Even me, I've got this bias against men. Born into me and bred into us that as men, we're not victims, but men are trafficked into these trades as well. Okay. But if we were to kill off the black market, I believe that we would turn some of these tides, right? That if things, and people are going, holy shit, is Cash talking about legalized prostitution? What I'm talking about is legalizing your ability as an individual to have a fucking fans only account and do whatever you want with whoever you want because it's your body. It's not government's business. I'm not advocating prostitution. I'm not advocating using your body in some form. What I'm advocating is your ability to choose for yourself and your family what's good for you and yours, and not having government tell you or threaten you or put you in prison because they don't agree with your specific set of morals and values, right? As long as you're not out there hurting other people and fucking them up, government's got no business telling you what you can or can't do. And I think that we could get rid of a lot of this black market human trafficking, right? But you're still going to have those underground rings of Jeffrey, the Epsteins of the world that we got to hunt out, right? These are the fuckers we got to get out, right?
Well, actually, that's quite funny that you touch on that. I just put a link up on the VLN Facebook page about a Columbia professor that wrote an article over several years that dealt with child sex trafficking. As it turns out, according to this article, he was a member of the pedophilia ring himself. And then Children's Services, they cut ties with him. I just put this article up on, what's his name? Hang on, let me see again. It's if someone wants to pull it up from our page here.
Hold on. See, we like to put. I like to put faces to names. When I hear a name, or if we're referencing an agency, we need to be better about understanding who's operating those agencies, who's in charge. There are names. These aren't just ghostless, nameless, faceless agencies with people that we can't identify, right? Identify the players in the game.
Well, one of the players is the Administration for Children's Services of New York City. Moving forward, the name of the Columbia University professor, Theo Sandford, S-A-N-D.
Hey, put his name in the comments. Yeah, put his name in the comments for us, Frank, if you would. Let other people grab his name, right? I want citizen journalists. I want other people doing the work too and getting involved.
Well, let me see.
Be involved with this process.
I'm gonna have to put in a private one, man. I can't comment in the public thing. I just gotta.
Yeah, I'm having an issue with that too.
Yeah,
that might be something on my end. It's probably something on my end that I got to fix.
Well, here, I'll
And
put
I
it
will.
here, and then maybe you can put it on the screen.
Let's see.
I can pull it up and share it again if
Yeah, let's
we
do
need
that.
to. Okay.
Yeah, but Sanford.
But going back to what you were saying about, having OnlyFans and, all of that stuff, the problem is that we're trying to regulate morality, and that has been an issue for how long?
Ages, dude.
Ages.
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 Millennium.
He's a psychologist, correct?
I gotta get rid of that.
I gotta get rid of that. Boom.
This article just came
This is
out
better for me.
on the 15th of this month.
Would it be the ACS worked with Columbia professor despite studies of pedophilia?
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's it, Sean.
All right, let me screen share again. You're probably gonna have to do your thing on that side. All right, there it is.
See, there's not going to be many on these feeds. There's going to be 10 or 20 of us. There we go. Boom.
All right, I'm gonna head over to my little thing here so I can scroll for you.
Now, this dude was paid close to $500,000, just under $500,000, to write some reports.
Half of $500,000.
$416,000.
Somebody read that for me. I can't read it.
The City Administration for Children's Services commissioned a Columbia University professor to lead a $416,000 study on LGBTQ orientation in foster kids, despite his history of publishing works on pedophilia.
Here, I'll try to cue you up, Sean, with some important stuff.
Yeah, read that next paragraph. The embattled ACS.
The embattled ACS only cut ties with Theo Sanford late last week, nearly a month after publishing the results of a survey that found 1 in 3 young people in the city's foster care system identifies as LGBTQ.
Wow. That's a significant number. Now, did the state take
This guy has been doing this since the 1970s.
Or did they begin identifying after they were taken into state care?
Stanford's 5-year relationship with the agency began under a previous leadership regime, and that current honchos only just became of his work spanning the late 1970s into the early 90s, including Boys on their contacts with men, a study of sexually expressed friendships, and pedophile relationships in the Netherlands, alternative lifestyle for children, with a question mark.
Now, this man also sat on the board of directors for NAMBLA, which is the North American Man-Boy Love Association. He also was a board member for an AIDS foundation, which leads to some ties out in Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County on some grant money laundering from based upon the fraud there. We are still digging in, but this is some interesting things that are happening out in southern New York. Sean, if you want to go on with that article, we can go.
Yeah, it says that the city of New York has zero tolerance for pedophilia. The health, safety, and well-being of children is our top priority. Marissa Kaufman said in part, our work with Dr. Sanford began over 5 years ago, and current ACS leadership was not aware of these previous writings until after the survey findings were released. ACS has severed all ties with Sanford. We are currently reviewing our vetting process for engaging in researchers and consultants working on research projects with ACS.
Wow. Holy fuck, dude. What a fucking article.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Listen,
So the
let's get
craziest
those
part about this
donations
whole
in.
article-
We're all doing this full time. We need some financial help from everybody. You know, if we need to end this nonsense, this horrendous, disgusting, predatorial ticks and leeches shit that some government officials and agencies have started off the skin of our balls. We need financial assistance so that we can continue to expose these corrupt actors.
So this guy has been literally writing about this since the 1970s.
Are you shitting?
I don't
me?
plan on
you
writing
just
about
now
this
found
for
out about
50
it?
years.
Come on, man.
What's that?
I said he's been doing this since the 70s. He's been writing about this since the 70s. And the craziest thing is
Find out more about
that
this guy.
this is boys on their contacts with men. I hate this websites. A study of sexually expressed friendships.
And he also goes into state like around the ages of 12 to 13. This is where some grooming comes in.
Yep.
I put a
Well,
link
it's on our VLN Facebook page right now.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time commenting in the regular comments
This
too.
is CJ's job.
Yeah, I can't get in the regular comments.
I don't know why you guys can't. There's got to be a link for you guys to. I mean, you're in it. You joined it. So
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know why you can't comment.
You know, I don't know.
Um,
We'll
but
figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to take yourself out of the broadcast and just watch it and then comment.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me pull up my YouTube real quick because I was on YouTube earlier.
Yeah, here, let's try that.
Hey, if you guys
And I
have,
can post it right in the YouTube link, and then you can share it to the. It's the 78 short go. Which I think is my Gmail. So that's the one that's the Patreon
put it in
account as
the
well.
chat, Frank, and I'll copy and paste it.
Well, I
Wow.
just put it up. I should show up on your screen now under the comments. I did that from
There
the
we go. Okay.
yeah. So, all right, so there you go, guys. That's the link.
You have to set it public.
Who would have thought you
think
need
it
a
is
cell
set
phone and a
public.
computer to get all this
These guys
shit
are all in
done?
the chat room, Ida, so it's a little different. Oh. This is stuff we need to be talking about more. Not less. Let me show you something. Let me show you a number that nobody's talking about. Go get something here.
And you know, Cash, I know, and Sean, you know, we're here trying to make a stand to end this nonsense. I know for a fact with the brothers and sisters that stand with us, it will not take 50 years to end this. I think this is a short-term end goal. It's going to happen rather quickly once the information gets out there and these bad actors are exposed and locked up.
Yeah, my fear though is that nothing is going to change because nobody cares, except for I say nobody. There's a handful of people that do care. The problem is the majority overlook it. We're looking at a Democrat Party that is trying to normalize pedophilia, and this article this doctor clearly is saying that is an alternative lifestyle for children, which now we can force onto children because they come from broken homes, and those are the easier ones to groom for stuff like this. I mean, literally, one of the studies is called Pedophilic Relationships in the Netherlands, Alternative Lifestyle for Children. Like,
yeah, that was one of his.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we have
The guy promotes
people are
pedophilia.
trying
That's
to
what you're
normalize
saying.
it. I'm sorry, say that again, Cash?
I said the guy promotes pedophilia. That's what you're saying.
Of course. Yeah. What I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah,
But we have a
distinct
Democrat
between
Party
this guy-
that's trying to
this guy-
normalize it just like this.
we have to be very clear in our language so that people understand exactly what we're talking about. If we make an assertion of some kind, make sure we've got the facts to support it and assert it very clearly so everybody understands exactly what we're saying. That this guy who was commissioned to conduct this study was given the funding of over $400,000. And the guy doing this study has a apparently long history of writing articles defending pedophilia. And according to Frank Hand here, was a part of MAMBLA, which is the Man Boy Love Association. That is a pro-pedophile men's fucking, networking group. It's disgusting.
In addition, he sat on the AIDS Foundation board.
On the what board?
I forget the exact name of it as of the moment. We have it written down somewhere else, but he sat on the board of directors for an AIDS foundation.
Okay, hang on a second. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm getting ready to share another. Oh my God! I'm going to stop the share on the what I have up right now, and then we're going to do a different link here.
See, this is good stuff, man. This, where we're bringing this information together, we're talking about it and laying out the data and the resources for people to follow this themselves. That we, in fact, should be the greatest barrier to the exploitation of our kids, and it's because we have lied dormant as a nation in while this stuff just transpired underneath our fucking noses. And now it's really coming out, and we're going to be a part of fighting for these kids, our kids.
So this other one was written in 1983. The summary of it says the experiences and perceptions of 25 boys in ongoing relationships with pedophiles in the Netherlands were studied using a semi-structured interview technique. Areas of personal significance or values to the boys, including the pedophile relationship, the pedophile himself, and the sexual contact, were investigated for their emotional meaning and salience. The older partner and pedophile relationship were found to be significant, but not overly important aspects of the boys' experiences. The partner and relationship, including sexual aspects, were experienced in predominantly positive terms. Evidence of exploitation or misuse was absent. Implications of findings from this convenient sample are discussed in terms of research and social policy. So without pulling up the entire thing, this is just a summary. But what I want to highlight here is evidence of exploitation and misuse were absent.
We're absent.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, they're saying that there's no harm caused.
Exactly. Can we use the term Stockholm here? Because that's what it is.
Right. I put some comments on the screen here, and when
they
she
don't
put
know
Harris,
better.
when Harris was talking about
better.
Yeah, she's talking about Kamala Harris. That's who Ida's referring to.
Do you got something on her, Frank, you wanted to share?
Ida made a comment in here that says Harris was talking about it. She is referring to Kamala Harris, who reported on this the other day. I'm sure somebody can pull up the article. Maybe Ida can pull up the article about what Kamala Harris was speaking to, just to help us do some quick research.
So this is, I feel like this study, sorry, I'm going to cut you guys off there, but this study I feel like is kind of the same thing that we see in abusive relationships, between married people or boyfriend, girlfriend, stuff like that. So, and I think Mike G's gone, but you can go back to any domestic disturbance that he probably ever went to, where the wife is like, don't arrest him, don't take him to jail, I love him, he loves me, blah, 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 but he beats the shit out of her every fucking day. So these boys in the Netherlands have been groomed for no telling how long. That, oh, it's all positive, it's all good, like we love to have sex together and blah 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 blah.
And they're going out into the world promoting the same shit.
They just don't understand it. The kids don't understand the fact that I have been groomed to accept this as normal. That he doesn't hurt me because I want it, even though they don't understand at that point that they really don't want it.
Well, I mean, if these people, these are the people that if they would have went back during the slave trade and interviewed children of white colonizers, white colonists that owned slaves, the children would have said, yeah, there's nothing fucking out of the normal here.
Oh my fucking God.
I'm good to go, right? While they're watching people being tortured and probably they themselves took part in some of that, you know. Because they
I want to show you the references for this paper real
that
quick.
lack any type of empathy or human emotion teach this crazy shit to their kids, and then the pattern repeats.
Look at the references on this page.
Jason, why aren't you in? There he is. Not bad, bro. I didn't realize I had you in the fucking. I didn't realize I had you sitting in the back there, man. My bad, brother. I'm like sitting down here looking at the bottom of the screen. I'm like,
You must have
"Oh,
hit
hear
the
from
pipe
Jason."
hard
Shit.
this morning.
No, this is CJ's fucking job, man. CJ's a producer.
It's all good. I even texted you that I was backstage.
Hey, if you go to that screen share, you gotta look at the references that this guy used to write that paper.
I'm gonna go make some TikTok videos.
I should have just think.
It's gonna piss off the shit
trying
out
not
of
to
people.
puke on myself.
And we're gonna talk about this stuff. Fucking make it.
Yes, Frank, I think you called me.
See what happens.
Jack,
Yo.
look up.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm
See
talking
the
about.
baby up there on the wall?
Hell yeah.
Hey, you're finally in the house.
We're gonna do a little TikTok video.
Imagine that.
Finally, I know, right? Yeah, I was in the truck with you.
Oh, here, do this better, Frank.
Yeah, because I'm not able to put these on screen.
We
I
all
would
understand
really
it's
love to
TikTok.
get these on screen. Just
Because I'm on my computer right now, it'll be easier.
all right.
But one of the
I'm gonna
papers
start
that he
sending you
used
all kinds of dirty
is Speak Out on Incest. That was H. Armstrong.
TikTok.
The reaction of children to sexual relations with adults. That was written in the American Journal of Orthopsychiatry. That was in 1937. Inquiry among a
you
group
go back.
of pedophiles.
They've been
Sex research.
pedophilia ever.
All right, I got one that went through. If you can get that up on the screen, that would be awesome. It's a little tangent off of this. So I'll send you another one. This one goes back into the Title 4D shit.
All right, give me 1 second. Oh, there it is. All right. Download.
Letter could be a tool to help assist somebody that may be threatened with an unlawful order of incarceration for child support. It's from the Department of Justice.
Okay. May have to wait for. Oops, I think I just closed. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Let me close these other tabs. I'm starting to get a little. Yeah, I have to wait for Cash to come back so that way he can pull this one up.
All right, that's a good letter right there. I'll throw up some other stuff in a hot minute.
It says the Department of Justice, the department, is committed to assisting state and local courts in their efforts to ensure equal justice and due process for all those who come before them.
Well, let me ask you two this, since he's not here. What do you think about it? We're all talking about the Justice Department here in the court. What do you think about the Supreme Court just dropping a decision yesterday or the day before that almost got no news coverage against Kansas, that they cannot require proof of citizenship to vote?
All right.
Where was
First
this
off,
at?
I don't know.
This is not federal, correct?
Nope, that was the United States Supreme Court.
All right, I don't know enough to talk about it. However, I'll give you my opinion, which might be considered as conjecture. I find when I went to go vote this year, they had me under a different name but the same residence. They had never asked me for an ID. I was able to change the name on the spot without any ID, and I could vote. I have a problem with that.
The U.S. Supreme Court rejects bid to revive Kansas voting restriction. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
That's good.
So
Hey,
yeah, I don't really see a problem
That's a
with
good fucking
showing a license, official, state, whatever ID. I think why not? There's no harm in that. They don't need to know who you're voting for. And even if they do,
It's just so. It just goes to along these lines of the courts are not our friends. Everybody thinks the courts are there to help us. They are not our friends. They're there for their own self-serving interests.
All right, this is a good document right here. This might help somebody get out of incarceration if they go in front of a magistrate for non-willful payment of support.
some good networking right here, man. Putting some shit together.
I'm just kind of scrolling through this real quick. I'm trying to see if we can find a. I probably look really funny trying to read this. Both serious.
What do you got? Who's got it? Where do I need to go get it?
130 pounds.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay.
What? You guys are
All right, so
what are y'all doing?
this thing here, down here is saying recent years have seen increase in attention on the illegal enforcement of fines and fees in certain jurisdictions around the country, often with respect to individuals accused of misdemeanors, quasi-criminal ordinance violations, or civil infractions. Civil Rights Division, blah, blah, blah. Typically, courts do not sentence defendants to incarceration in these cases. Monetary fines are the norm, yet the harm caused by unlawful practices in these jurisdictions can be profound. Individuals may confront escalating debt, face repeated unnecessary incarceration for non-payment despite posing no danger to the community, lose their jobs, become trapped in cycles of poverty, blah, blah, blah. All right. So what they're saying is to help judicial actors protect the individual's rights and avoid unnecessary harm, we discussed below a set of basic constitutional principles relevant to the enforcement of fines and fees. These principles, grounded in the rights to due process and equal protection, require the following. Courts must not incarcerate a person for non-payment of fines or fees without first conducting an indigency determination on establishing that the failure to pay was willful. Courts must consider alternatives to incarceration for indigent defendants unable to pay fines and fees.
But honestly,
Courts
no,
must
it
not
should
condition
be
access to
willful.
judicial hearings on prepayment of fines or fees. course, must provide meaningful
We shouldn't
notice
be
and
contributing to our own demise.
exactly.
Right.
And I think that's what this is kind of covering here. Is this is saying, in court systems receiving federal funds, these practices may also violate Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, 42 U.S.C. 2000D, when they unnecessarily impose disparate harm on the basis of race or national origin. So without going like reading all the way through this, because I haven't done that yet, but we have it up here on the screen. What this is saying is, this is from the U.S. Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, and Offices for Access to Justice. So what this is saying is what the Department of Justice is saying. What I feel like, even though I haven't been able to read, we haven't read through this fully yet. I haven't anyway. Frank, I'm not sure if you have.
Yeah, several times.
Okay, so this is basically what this is, or what we can, as non-custodial parents, we'll just say that to eliminate all the bullshit, is that we could use this as a reference for our overpaid attorneys to say, hey, look, they're trying to throw me in jail because I'm not paying my child support, even though it's not willful. The court is under an obligation to show that I'm not doing this willfully. Am I wrong?
Correct.
Okay.
That is 100% spot on.
Hey, we need to correct something though. If I'm not mistaken, Jeff Sessions had this shit like rescinded. They rescinded because this was an Obama era executive order, right? Or DOJ, the Civil Rights Division. March 2016.
I haven't come across a document that said it was rescinded.
Jeff Sessions there was something Jeff Sessions had we can go up what do you guys pull it up, or I'll try and pull it up in a second. But I'm pretty certain that this was rescinded.
Really? I would love
administration and by Jeff Sessions.
What the hell is this letter called? Oh.
All right, let's see if we can find that then. Because I don't want to give out bad information to anybody.
Okay. Oh, yep, there it is.
No shit.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinds 24 guidance documents. Oh, hang on a second. Yep. May 6th, 2014. Dear colleague, letter on Supreme Court ruling in Shoot versus Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action. So I don't think that this one, March 14th. Yeah, I don't think this one's been rescinded. March 17th, 2011, 2010, 2014. I'm sorry, let me mute my mic so I'm not talking to myself and you guys.
Now, some of the terminology that we're coming across, gratuities. Gratuities comes into this when officials allocate funds to individuals. I sent over some other documents to Sean right there, which you can pull up momentarily after we finish this topic. But specifically defines gratuities as in furnishing funds to contractors, which is a big no-no. It sounds like a legal word for a bribe.
My bad, I was muted. Yes, it does sound like a bribe.
Yeah. Gratuities. Which then, if that can be proven on a substantive level, then a judge sheds his capacity as an official officer of the court and or judge, which then can be sued under 42 U.S.C. 1983.
I don't get.
And that is not legal advice.
Again, I
No,
don't
because
get
we
this
don't
whole
give legal advice here. We just
thing.
tell you.
Me and CJ disagree on this. Because I'm like, if I can sit down and say and read you, for instance, if they seize Jason's guns, right? Am I giving him legal advice when I go and I read the Fourth Amendment in the Constitution? Am I giving legal advice when I talk about government being restrained from illegal searches and seizures? Is that legal advice?
I don't believe so.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
but you have to be careful,
we skirt
Cash,
around the
because
state.
there are a lot of people out there.
They make us dance around. They make us fucking play this little tiptoeing dance on whether or not we can advise our fellow citizens and give them. You guys need to probably mute your mics if there's feedback. I don't think it's.
Hey, Cash, I feel like you're playing audio out of two different locations.
Only one.
Or it's Frank.
Nah, not me here.
I think the issue is that I've got two different mics picking me up, even with it muted.
That might be it.
I don't know. That's all I can figure out.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good.
Because I mute the fucking thing, and it's still doing it. And the echo cancellation's on. Oh, wait. Oh. There might be two of them I gotta do it with. Let's mute that one.
Well, somebody's playing some like meditation music in the background.
That might be me. Hang on a second. Now Cash is completely muted.
Okay, we can't have all of us muted. We'll lose everybody off the stream if we haven't already.
All right, now I had my PlayStation on earlier,
Just
so it's the
saying.
music from my PlayStation. I think you're hearing as the meditation music in the background. It is actually quite relaxing. I'm not gonna lie.
With me
Yeah,
sitting here
after-
smoking, it wouldn't have
I've
been
been
long.
going for almost 4 hours anyway. We lost Mike G, man. I hope I didn't get complacent and leave him in the back studio and forgot about him. And if I did, Mike, my bad, dude.
All right, so
Well,
Cash,
you know what?
Frank wanted you
We're gonna
to
close the show out,
look
man.
at
We've
this.
gone almost 4 hours.
Okay.
It's been some interesting dialogue, and I appreciate everybody coming on and joining us. Frank, Sean, Jason, everybody else that came in. We missed some people, I think, earlier, didn't get them on, and it's because I didn't know that they were down. They were populated beneath your guys' little thumbnails, and so I couldn't see them. And I didn't know that they were in the backstage down there.
Well, again,
So,
I'll
anyways,
say what I
fellas,
always
thanks
say.
for joining us, man. I'm gonna remove you. I'm gonna let you guys get in. One last word. 60 seconds. Jason, go.
Everybody keep your heads up. We love you. If you're feeling down, don't be afraid to call somebody. Even if you got to call me, 254-247-0009. Don't be the person that puts themselves in a ditch somewhere. Call somebody. Reach out. Get it off your chest. We love you. Bye.
Your fucking guineas are loud. It wasn't racist terms, it was those loud birds.
Ida's putting up some good stuff on the screen right now that deals with Kamala Harris, just FYI. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking to get off now, I just want to let everybody know that an analogy that I've heard throughout the years is that these feelings that some of us have, it's like waves in the ocean. Sometimes it's calm, sometimes there's little ones. Sometimes there's that tidal wave that you don't even see coming. It comes and it goes. But there's enough support here. Members in our community, we stand with one another. We have each other's back. We are trying to end this as quick as possible. If any of these feelings do come across, it will pass. It might take a day, it might take 10 minutes, it might take 30 seconds, but it will go away. You gather your composure and you come back even stronger like a rising phoenix. Reach out to me. I've talked to multiple people that have been going through some things. And thank God I talked them through. My phone number is 646-416-2692 if anybody ever needs to reach out.
Yeah, I need to get your numbers populated. Frank, thanks for joining us, man. We're gonna make sure we get some of this updated. We'll put guys' phone numbers on there like that. If you want to reach out to one another and you want to publicly put it out there, yeah, man, I'll throw them up here for you guys. And if you definitely network, right, cross communicate, talk to one another, find more information, connect the pieces, and that's what we're doing, right? We're connecting the pieces across this country on how they're systemically violating our constitutional rights, and they're breaking down the fabric of society, trafficking our kids through federal incentives and state policies and practices and procedures. And we want to hold them accountable. So, Franks, thanks for doing the hard work, man. Thanks for being a part of the fight. Thanks for being a grunge journalist for the Veteran Liberty Network, dude. We look forward to seeing more material from you and Tony out there in New York and D.C.
Yes, sir. All right.
Later, brother. Sean, you last, man. You got the last word of the guest today.
Sorry, I appreciate you letting me come on almost every single time you guys are on. And I'm just going to leave it with this because I feel like this kind of sums up everything. This is from Thomas Jefferson. Rightful liberty is unobstructed action according to our will within limits drawn around us by the equal rights of others. I do not add within the limits of the law, because law is often but the tyrant's will, and always so when it violates the right of the individual. We talk about minorities in this country every single day. The individual is the minority, not blacks, not Hispanics, not whites, not yellows, not greens. The individual, remember, you are the minority, not anybody else. You guys have a good day. And again, Cash, thanks for letting me join you as always. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks, brother. It's been an interesting show today. We've talked about a lot. Got my buddy Chris Marks in jail up there in Indiana right now on the child tax, the child poll tax to be a father in this country. It's not back child support. This man has fought vigorously to play an equal role in raising his kids. I want Chris Marks released. We should be demanding his release. We're going to be following up here with the state's attorney's office. We're going to submit some FOIA requests. I think maybe I can get Frank and Tony to give me a hand on this, or I got some other people up in Illinois that could help with these FOIA requests. We want to get FOIA submitted from the Veteran Liberty Network, and we want to find out why. We've got my buddy Chris, Native American veteran, or I'm sorry, not veteran, but a Native American free citizen, a sovereign citizen of the Miami people who is incarcerated in a debtor's prison, much like I have been in and many other dads have been. I'm trying to find a good place for this. I'm wearing my uniform because I believe I'm still paid to support and defend the Constitution. And if I'm wearing my uniform incorrectly, and you're more concerned with that than the fact that I haven't seen my kids in 2 years, I don't really give a shit what you think, right? If you can't prioritize the fact that fathers like me all across this country and mothers are being deprived of a constitutional right to be parents to our kids, I don't give a fuck what you think about me wearing this uniform. And I hope that you are extremely angry, but I hope that anger provokes you to the point that you go, why would this man be willing to put on his fucking uniform and talk about these issues in such a manner, right? Have some thought-provoking, constructive criticism of what's happening in this country and why people like me are pissed off and we deserve answers, and we want those answers, and we're going to exercise our First Amendment right to get those answers and to display and show to the rest of the world that we're not alone and there's millions like us, and your kids or you will be next if you don't learn more about what's happening and protect yourselves. So this is Cash Jackson. This is the War is Hell podcast, and we are with the Veteran Liberty Network. Please go over and support us at our Patreon, PayPals. Go over to the Veteran Liberty Network website and share that website, please. We will be growing that. We have some people coming on board to grow that. And I've got some exciting news. We've got some sponsors coming on board. Our first sponsor I spoke with yesterday. We are looking for more sponsors. More. Matter of fact, there's one I'm going to call. Let's call them. You want to call a potential sponsor real quick? Let's see if I can get a sponsor. It's always no till you ask. And you should never be afraid of getting rejected, okay? Rejection is a part of normal everyday life, especially in sales, marketing, and the free market, right? Negotiating deals. And sometimes it's good for people, and sometimes it's not a good fit, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. I saw this company. In fact, Marina went in there one time for me before. We're going to call them. Yeah, good morning. My name's Cash Jackson. How are you doing today?
Fine, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Hey, I wanted to see if I could speak potentially with one of the owners or managers about, I'm looking for some sponsorship for a podcast that I do, and I happen to be retired Navy, and I run a podcast called the War is Hell podcast, and I'm in your region. I drove by your guys' location yesterday and saw it. I was like, well, that's pretty awesome. Let me call them and see if they'd be interested in doing a potential sponsorship in exchange for some advertisement. And use some free market principles to advance your guys' business and my platform.
Let me write this down real quick, and I'll let the owner know.
Okie dokies. Oh, FYI, I'm live, just so I can be courteous to you and let you know that I'm live on the air with an audience, listening to a free market exchange right now.
Oh, okay.
Just want to be forthright about that.
Thank you. Is this a good number to reach you?
It sure is, yes.
All right, then I'll write it down and I'll let the owner know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, bye-bye. We'll see what happens. You never know. I need some sponsors. I need some people that in the businesses that don't shy away from the cold, hard, callous truth, the salty ass truth, and they enjoy some good entertainment. I appreciate all of you and what you do. Again, we're looking for artists for the show. Send them to CJ Abernathy, man. I've got like 6 to 10 artists and composers that I got to call and set up, along with, we got Nick Sky on. We're promoting Nick Sky, the band. Go over there, like their music, like their page. We're all working men and women that are networking. Don't think that because we've never spoken that there's not a potential for us to help one another, build our own platforms, make money together, discover complexities and issues in our government and in our neighborhoods that we can dialogue ideas to remedy and build a better country than what we have. I believe in that. I believe in advancing this cause of liberty and freedom for all people, not just certain demographics. So, love y'all. Have a great day. Let me grab this outro so I can go backstage and talk to my buddy Frank. Hold on. Where's it at? Boom, 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 boom. Let's do a countdown to the